G Money.
Yo.
What's up, man?
What's
I gotta
going
sit
on,
up.
man?
I try to get these fancy chairs, and
What happened?
it's a second episode back.
You don't like the chairs? What's wrong with the chairs?
I mean, yeah, I like it, but
He need his backup.
Oh, whoa, hold on. First of all, I would get. So are we changing the rules? Because
No.
for 229 episodes, I guess usually stay quiet during the intro. But
I know.
she's the OG. She can say what she wants.
She almost got a, you know what, before the show
I know
started.
you almost bigged up because you always like people from Philly. You biased.
Yeah, man. Yeah. If you know the show, you know Philly and Harlem is this. I'm from Queens, but
Oh, okay.
our Philly guests and our Harlem guests.
She's still talking. She's still talking. How are you, G?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I'm feeling good.
Our second episode. What's up?
No, yeah, second episode. We back.
Second episode back, man. We haven't been, flip the script. Been going for what, a year and a half? A year?
Something like that, about a year.
A year and a half. I be trying to, black people always add the songs. A year and a half. For 2 years you've been going. No, you're lying. No, he wasn't. But a year and a half and now we're back. How do you feel?
I'm good. Happy to be back. You know, we had the first episode back was a little crazy.
Yes.
I almost got killed right here in front of you guys.
Yes.
Almost on my next snap, pause.
Yes.
But I'm alive. I'm still here. You know.
I'm excited about our next, this episode today.
No, yeah, the story sounds crazy.
Yes, I got my notes. People don't know, man.
This is round of applause for you, man. This is good, man. Look at you. Look at you, my friend. Wow.
I want to approach it different.
Can you read this though?
Of course I can.
Okay.
Of course. I got good. She can read it too.
Yeah.
She right there. And she was checking my notes.
Yeah.
And she checked me when I checked her in too at the hotel. Like, yo, look, don't be playing with me, man. I get you.
She watched us. She knows she's cut from that cloth. She came in here like, what's this? Okay, all right, exit over there. She watch us surroundings. She does. She's on her P's and Q's.
She does.
As she should be. You know what I'm saying?
It feels good to be back. I just want to say, but it's a hard road, man. Just getting back into the mix. It's a hard road getting back into the mix, G.
I know how I go, man.
Get back to the mix, but and on top of that, we got to work on. We're going to be getting some central in here, man. We got to get some central in.
Yeah, it's a little warm, man.
These lights, man.
It's the light.
If you wanna be under the lights, you got to pay the price. I want to be respectful. But G Money,
yo,
episode.
Hold on.
Oh,
before you do that. I would be doing a disservice to my DJ community if I don't acknowledge.
Oh yes, fact.
One of the greatest to do it. You know what I'm saying? We lost a great one today. Shout out to my DJs, man. I've been getting a lot of calls all day. My phone been ringing all day long. But rest in peace, DJ Mr. C, Brooklyn Zone, the finisher. Good dude, man. Young. I think he was 57 years old. I think they said he was. Passed away today. I'm not sure what happened. I'm still hoping that this is all a hoax or something, but I've been seeing everybody posting the pictures and all that all day long. So shout out to him, shout out to his family, praise him and his family. He was the first person to play our record on the radio, Hot 97.
I remember.
He was the first one. You know what I'm saying? So he was the first guy to play, give me opportunity, give Flip opportunity to be on radio when Flip was doing music. You know what I'm saying? Back in those days.
The crazy thing about the situation with Mr. C is that, he didn't want to do anything with Flip the Script because he thought I was crazy.
Right.
He told it to Miss Jones, but he showed me a lot of love in the conversations that we had. For some reason, sometimes when people, like I said, when they look at your history or your skits and videos, they become reluctant. So, but I definitely appreciate for everything they did for us. And I'm sad to see that he passed away. You know what I'm saying?
I was like frozen. I seen the post earlier. I was just kind of stuck, like looking at the Instagram, like it's not real. You know what I'm saying? Because he's one of our DJ heroes. You know what I'm saying? Like for those who don't know in the podcast, I actually do DJ. I don't just do podcasting. So he's like our DJ hero. You know what I'm saying? He's up there in that caliber, top 5 DJs all the time, radio and club. So you know what I'm saying?
Look at you.
So he's in that caliber. So today was a little bit like damn, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my DJs, man. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's go into this. New Year's already be going, but let's continue the year and try to be healthy and try to be just enjoy life, man. While we're here, you know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that. G Money,
yo,
episode 230. We made it. Woo! Round of applause. We got a special guest.
Oh man.
Oh, legend.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia's own.
Philly, what's up, Philly?
South Philly, right?
South Philly.
Don't mistake her for anything else. At her height, she was at her height, and even now she's still at her height.
Mm.
Trying to rap here. Legend, wonderful person. Smile from here to Timbuktu. Round of applause for Thelma Wright.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank
Can I
you.
get a water, please? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well.
Thank you for having me here today.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
Gee, so when you came in here, you were looking at the exits. You remember the menus of Sugar Factory, which I think, I heard Sugar Factory is nasty, but you said no, it was good.
It was good.
You remember the prices, the menus, and you look around, you very observant. Where does that come from?
Probably it's the way I grew up.
Mm.
Just part of your makeup and growing up, being aware of your surroundings at all times. And then I guess, being with my husband too, taught me a lot. More so, he taught me more so about life and living than I would probably say I learned in school or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I went to Catholic school. So, but I think that comes from inner city living. Just got to be aware of what's going on.
Sharp.
You too sharp.
No,
Too
never.
sharp. Yeah.
You
And
never
you got your
too
girl Keisha, Miss Keisha. She
Yes,
over here.
What's up,
Keisha.
Keish?
Yeah. How long you know her
Yes.
for?
Pardon me?
How long you know Miss Keisha?
Since she's about 5 years old.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Seriously.
And she been around this whole time?
Well, I was
Big Keish.
I was friends with her mom and her mom's friends, so they were like my big sisters. So
Oh.
now I'm her big sister.
Got you. Well, welcome to Flip the Script. We are happy to have you.
That's
Yeah.
a fact.
It's a lot going on. I mean, this is DJ G Money. G Money, man, like,
Yes, sir.
where you want to start, my brother? Because I have so many questions. I have a board here. You see my board.
It's a
I have
lot.
so many questions. Man, you're a Leo like us.
Oh, yeah.
You a
Shout out
Leo?
to Leo.
Yes, July 29th, July
July 30th.
30th.
My father was July 28th. Keisha's August 6th. I'm August 8th.
Okay. Leo
we
gang in the
Leos.
spot.
Leo
Leo's
then.
is strong,
Don't make
right?
it hot. Round of applause for my
Strong.
Leos.
But your Leo men a little different though. But okay.
Oh,
Hey,
hey,
hold
hold
on.
on.
Explain. G, come on, G. Get down to the bottom.
Did you believe in the zodiac signs and all that, or do you
Pardon me.
believe in zodiac signs and all that?
Yeah,
or-
I think it's fun. Like I make fun of it. Like
Okay.
not make fun of it, but I think it's fun. Like to know. I like to know when people's birthdays are. So then that kind of gives me a little bit of edge on
Okay.
who they might be, because with all the signs, you got the positive and the negative. So
So the Leo, whatever. So do you feel like you fit in the
Oh,
Leo?
yes.
Yeah.
all day long.
Yeah.
Now my father was a Leo, but my father and I were a lot alike. But of course, he was the male and I'm the female. So we would make joke. Man, I would have never married you. I wouldn't have married you either. Yeah.
Got you.
That's
You
something
know.
that's interesting about when we do our research about your childhood, right?
Mhm.
Because it says your parents were Catholics, right? Or did they go?
My father took Catholicism so we could become Catholic. Because back then, somebody had to be Catholic.
Back then you
back
had to
then,
be Catholic.
a parent had to be Catholic.
So was the
Wow.
Muslims deep back in the days in Philly?
I knew nothing about Muslims when I was growing up.
Really?
No, I knew nothing about. I'm sure they were around, but I knew nothing about. I didn't know any Muslims. I started knowing Muslims like in 75, 76.
That's when they became.
That's when it became more prevalent in my neighborhood, because at that time, we were talking about this today. At that time, I remember I lived up the street from the schoolyard, and I remember them recruiting, coming and snatching up young guys and taking them to the mosque. And next thing you know, they had suits on and bean pies and papers. But what I did like about, what I noticed about that was they were learning discipline. They were very disciplined back at that time. You know what I mean?
So I looked at your story
Mhm.
and it said that your mom, who owned the basketball team? Like, what was that about?
Both of my parents were basketball players.
They were
Right.
basketball players.
players. And then it was, and when I was growing up, there was a gentleman, older gentleman, Mr. Berry, Bill Berry. He was a friend of my father's.
Bill Berry,
And they
okay.
started the Bill Berry League. And so the Bill Berry League was for males and females. And so my mom was a basketball coach for the Bill Berry League. My dad could coach and referee for the Bill Berry League. So you had boys league and the girls league. I played in the girls league.
I didn't know they had women basketball players back in those days. Is that
Yeah.
is that misogyny?
Probably.
Was that
Yeah,
misogynistic?
my mother was scoring. My mother played ball in high. She scored 17 points a game. They wanted to put her in the Black
Really?
History Museum, and she wasn't even that tall.
How did she get into that? Like what?
I think in Philly, and I'm going back before my time and doing it because that's how they met. Like my parents met. My father was going to South Philadelphia High School. Well, she was too, and he said he came up the subway and seen her legs. And that's how he met. But little did he know at the time she was a ball player, and he was a ball player. He was the first black guard to play for South Philadelphia High School. So they, that came together, and my brothers were ball players. I mean, scholarship ball players. Lehigh, Tennessee State. Like, yeah, they could ball. They could ball.
Did you play?
Mm-hmm. I ran track. I played basketball, and I played softball.
Were you nice?
Nice. My father would come bet on me in my softball game.
So you wasn't nice in basketball, but you.
I was nice in basketball too. Oh yeah, yes I was.
You still got the jump shot right now? What's up? We gotta
Probably
hoop out.
so. You give me a ball.
We got to hoop out and back right now.
But you got to
take
get my nails done when I pop my nail.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Probably so. Probably so.
That's dope.
Gee, how does that make you feel, G? Because you play basketball too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna see, like,
And see, when I was coming up, if you couldn't ball, I didn't fool with you, boys. You got to play. You got to know how to ball. That's what we did. I mean, that was because I lived right up the street from the schoolyard.
Jackie didn't ball though.
He did.
He did? Okay.
My brothers laughed because he really was not that athletic, but he could get in the game, and we would have family games and stuff. He could play.
Hold it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he, that really wasn't his thing. But my son could ball. My son made it as the first walk-on for LaSalle University because he didn't have a scholarship. And then the Franklin Marshall trustees and the coach saw him in a pickup game, and they wanted him. And I said, if you can make them numbers better than what I'm paying at LaSalle, you got him. And they did. He got all kinds of write-ups, and he's the 1,000-point thing and all. He just went there and did
I was not good at flip. Sorry.
He was a ball here. And soccer. I don't know where he got that from, but he was good at it.
Real quick, so tell us about your childhood, right? So your parents had 6 children, right? 6 of you. Both parents is the same, all children?
All same parents.
All the same parent? Tell us about your childhood. I mean, you were into sports. What number child are you? The middle?
I'm the
fourth?
I'm the oldest girl, so I'm the third child. Oldest girl. I have 2 older brothers, and then me. And I have 2 younger sisters and a younger brother. So I'm the oldest daughter, third child.
Got it. So tell us what it was like growing up in a household back in the days in Philadelphia with your parents. Were they strict parents? Okay, they weren't strict.
No. My parents were not strict. It was fun. I mean, because we had, athletics were big in our household. My mom was strong about our education. That was, to my parents, I say this all the time, they were different as black and white. Like he say black, she say white. But what they did agree upon was the kids, the education, and how we would be raised and what we would do. They could be separate, but when it came to us, they were together. And so it was fun. I mean, we went, I would ask my mom, like, as I got older, how was it that you were able to afford to take us on vacation every summer for 2 weeks? It started before I was born. They would take us to Wildwood every summer for 2 weeks. And we'd stay at the same Rosemary Manor on Lincoln Avenue every year. And you had to go until you were 16. So once I turned 16, I didn't have to go anymore. But we were like 3 and 3. So it was the first 3. And my parents were younger. They got married. My mom was 17. My dad was 19. And then they had the other 3. So but when they were raising us, they were young and doing stuff. And then they come with these other 3. And with the first 3 caught hell. Because, Christmas ain't the same. And, I was telling my sister who's under me, today's her birthday. I was telling her about how it was when we were growing up. Because she's from the second set. And I was like, we didn't get Christmas no more when y'all came along. She said, really? I'm like, yeah. Mom would say, well, your brother and your sisters have to get stuff. And, we kids, we be like, okay, but we be going somewhere pissed because here y'all come. You know what I mean?
What's the age difference of each of you guys?
So it's like, okay, so my oldest brother is 72 right now. My next oldest brother is 69. I'm 67.
What?
I'm 67.
That's crazy.
My sister just turned 63 today. My youngest sister is 61. She'll be 62 in August. She's a Leo. And my youngest brother is 55. He'll be 56 in July.
Wait,
Nah,
You're
that's
67?
I'm 67.
I
I'll be
don't pause for that
68
one time, man.
in August.
Oh,
You're not
You see why I don't mind? I don't mind.
there's no way.
Don't mind.
No way.
Yes way.
No way, bro.
Yes way.
I was trying to figure out the number too in my head. I was like,
Wait,
nah,
I told you I don't have no problem saying it.
Wow.
I'm so blessed. You figure, and I know we're gonna talk about it. I've been shot, I've been kidnapped, I've had breast cancer, I've lost my husband, I've lost my mother, my father. Like, I'm 67
Mm.
and I'm blessed.
When do you have a mind? When do you have a thought pattern like that? Right, as far as that maturity, without breaking down, or because I want to be
It's
honest. I want to be honest. Oh, well, hold on. I see water.
No, go ahead.
I see
I'm
water,
good.
guys. Okay, there you go. Oh,
I am human.
yeah, you are. I wanna. I haven't. I don't think it's gonna sound crazy.
No.
I don't accept. I didn't accept death.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, like, I don't want to get old, right?
Right.
Like, at one point in my mind, like, I don't want to get old.
Right.
And then you realize time passes you and you can't, it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you, because you seem like you just accept life.
I don't.
You don't accept it. Is it a Leo thing?
Well, I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay. I've gotten better because my father passed in, okay, so my husband died in 86, right? So when my husband died, my great-grandmother was alive. My whole entire family was alive. We had never experienced a death like that. It was a murder, and you know what I mean? Like, my great-grandmother was alive. So it seemed like after he died, every couple of months, I was coming back to go to another funeral because these were people that I was close. My great-grandmother, my grandmothers, my grandfather, my uncles. I was close to these people to the point that I would have to come back and sit down with my mother and her brothers or whomever and plan these funerals every time because they felt like, oh, she knows now because I had to do it first with my husband. Mm-hmm. It's not easy. It's just that after my father died in 2012, I felt like God gave me time and prepared me for that one. My mother, I didn't really get a lot of time. And so I think that after you lose your parents or you lose people that are deep, in your heart, it's like, okay, this is what it is. This is life and you got to deal with it. It doesn't stop the crying. It doesn't stop the pain, but you just learn to deal with it a little better each time. And that's probably the best way I can say for myself. Because I had an incident yesterday. I got a nephew that's very sick right now. And she'll tell you, I was messed up yesterday. So, I think you just get better with time. You just start to, I spend a lot of time alone. And that's because I need to do a lot of deep soul searching and stuff. And I need to hear God. I can't hear with a bunch of confusion. I can't. So I spend a lot of time alone. And so I do a lot of deep soul searching. And I just feel like, okay, it is what it is. I got to make the best of the time I got. I don't know what's going to happen, especially when the breast cancer hit. You just don't know. And so, to me, you have to make the best of the time that you have.
Right. I agree.
I've been through a lot. You read it. You see, I've been through a lot, but I have to just keep going. I can't let it consume me. I want to live my life the best way I can until I leave here.
That's real. That's real. So obviously we got a lot to get to. The story is crazy. You get the book out. We got a lot to talk about. Your husband, the kids, everything. So before we get to that though, hearing your story, it seems to me a little different than like some people who this one thing that you were involved in. Some people grew up and didn't have and had to go out and get it. You seem to, from the story I heard, you seem to kind of have it all. The family was there, the brothers, sisters there, the parents was there. So like, let me backtrack. Before we get to that now, can you give us a visual of like what Philly was like before we get to this story? Like we from New York City. So like, and plus we, a little bit age difference, you know what I'm saying? But so tell us back then what Philly was like for you outside and, outside of the family stuff now. We in Philly, we in your block, North Philly you said, right?
South
Philly, sorry. South Philly. Take us to South Philly one time. Let me get a visual.
So South Philly, we are territorial. That's why I'll say South Philly. I'm from Philly. I claim Philly, but I'm from South Philly. It makes a difference.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And so Philly people, we have a tendency to be territorial, but we together when we someplace else. If you Philly, you Philly. You someplace else. But if you in Philly, you could be South. No, not that we have a problem with any part of the city. She said you claim where you're from.
I mean, that's how we are here. We from Queens.
Claim,
he always say Queens all the time.
Exactly.
I say Queens.
Exactly.
I get it.
So and growing up, like I grew up in an athletic family, so we could travel from, and I grew up in the gang era, right? But we could travel from our side, like, so the divided line was considered Washington Avenue, and people say cross the tracks. So when they say cross the tracks, that means the other side. So we on the south side, cross the tracks, north side, going into Center City. So, you had rec centers. At that time, rec centers was open. You know what I mean? And they had a lot of leagues going on, basketball leagues or even softball leagues. We had softball leagues where people play. So it was fun. You know what I mean? You didn't have the crazy dangers that you have now because you had, even with the gangs, they had codes. They knew who they were gang on. They knew who they wanted. They knew who would have ball. Like my brothers got passes because they knew they were ball players. They wasn't about that street stuff. So they didn't bother them. They knew my father. They respected my father. It was different back then.
That's how it should be.
It was different. People respected. They would say, "Hey, Mr. Lake." They knew my father. They knew my mother. So, we were respected. But you respected other people's families too. I grew up in that era when the neighbors saw, or when my father's friends saw me someplace, they would say, "Lace, I see." I said, like that. So I grew up in that time. It was different.
So you weren't a part of any kind of, gang activity, drug activity at that age. You were young.
No.
You were just having fun. You said fun times. Everyone was kind of organized. The crime was organized. They know who to do and how to do it. So then everything was fun and peaceful. And like I said, they had organized crime, and you guys weren't a part of that lifestyle. So take us to when you got into that lifestyle of all the craziness, and like when did everything take a turn for you?
So I graduated high school 1974, and I had just kind of really stopped playing ball and stuff, and I started going out with a couple friends, going places like when I was growing up, there were places that people would go, like Town Hall or Olympia. I couldn't go to those places like that. Plus, I was younger and I was too young. But so in 75, I think it was 75, I met Malik that you read about in the book, and he was a number writer, right? And so we would go out to West Philly. It was a couple of like bars and stuff. We were too young to go in, but we would sit outside because all the happenings was outside. 52nd Street, 52nd and Market, it was like, really big and exciting, especially for young girls, And you would see all the pretty cars, and you see the guys, dressed. Same thing would be going on here in Queens because, I'll get to that later. But anyway, so you're meeting people, you're meeting guys that are doing different things or whatever, because it was big in the city. Guys would, making money. You didn't know exactly what they did, but you knew it wasn't so much legal, And so I started seeing Malik. I think it was 76.
How did you meet Malik?
I met Malik being out 52nd Street, hanging outside of a bar.
Okay.
And he walked over to me and started talking to me.
Okay. And how much years older was he than you?
10.
10 years you're senior.
10. Yep. So I think I was
17?
It had to be later than that then, because when I graduated from school, I turned 18, 74. I turned 18, 19. So I was 19 when I met him.
Got it. Okay.
I was 19 because he was 29. I was 19. That's right. I was 19 when I met him. So so I met him, hanging out, and he was dressed really, really nice, And so we exchanged numbers or whatever and started talking. And he would take me out, to dinner, to movies and shopping and stuff like that. And so, I wasn't used to that. It was new for me. You know what I mean? But he seemed nice at the time.
How did guys approach you back then? Like, what What was a like pickup line back then? You know, now we got like social media. We can just send DM like.
Right.
What was kind of, if you remember his approach when you saw him?
More so, guys would just walk up to you or somebody might introduce you to someone and they say, hey, you know, hey, how you doing? How you been? What's your name? You know that.
Regular. Yeah,
it's corny stuff now, but that's what went on before social media.
I got you.
You know, people will walk up to you and talk to you, or somebody would introduce you to a person.
Right.
You know. So he walked and we exchanged numbers. He was dressed really, really nice. I just remember that. He's real nice. He was handsome. He had 2 dimples right here. And, you know, so we started seeing each other and he wrote numbers. He was a number banker, but he was working with the white mafia boys at the time. Italians, South Philly Italians.
Okay. And so your relationship with him, was it a happy one? Because when I read it, it said that, you know, obviously you got pregnant by him, but you realized that he was a gambler. That's what it said. So is that true?
You asked, was he nice? He started out like everybody, very nice. You know, like I said, we go shopping, go to the movies, to dinner. You know, Atlantic City.
Was it a thing though? I'm sorry to cut your thought. It was what is a thing? Was it a thing where it's like, men will be nice in the beginning to get what they want? Was it something like that? Or
it's no different now, isn't it? I mean, really.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah. I
they
mean,
call it the honeymoon phase, right?
Yeah, I mean, the
That's
honeymoon
phase.
I mean, when you
first
first meet someone, they send their representative. You know that
Right.
they send their representative, so that may last. Like now, I got my 90-day rule. So you know, it may take a couple months before you actually get to see who that person is.
You said like now. So you outside? You're dating now? So
I'm not dating now, but if I were dating someone now, like the only reason why I'm not dating now is because it's so bad out here. People have they got motives. You don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Right. So, but yeah, I mean, like people send their representatives, so they're always going to be nice in the beginning, and then as time goes on, you'll really see who that person really is. So you take your time and get to know them.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
First of all, I'm still stuck at the fact that you contemplate about dating now.
Yeah.
She said like now. I said, wait a minute.
I would.
I mean, you got the look. You look good.
Yeah,
Well, you better be careful with these young. I saw what you be driving. You better be careful.
Oh yeah.
You better be careful.
But I saw what you're driving. Saying. You got to be careful though.
No, you got to be. One of these young men will take you up and through there, please. Taking out cars and they take out cars in your name and homes. Man.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
So take us to when it started going south with Malik, because as I said, the story that I read is that, or what we hear about is that you were pregnant, you had a miscarriage, like your daughter.
I had a girl,
and she was outside in this world for about 15 minutes, and they said that his response to you was like nonchalant. We'll have more children.
You can have another baby.
You can have bring us to that day. Can you?
But
I
blamed him. But I don't blame him now. But I did blame him back then.
You tell me
so I mean, he got us this apartment that he really wasn't staying at that much. He was gambling a lot, staying out all night, whatever. So he got us this apartment. And then when I got pregnant, I think I felt as though things started to change when I got pregnant. And, you know, he would drop me off at my parents and he'd go gamble, then he'd come back and get me, you know, or sometime I'd spend a night there or whatever. But things started to change. And I remember my brother had gotten married June of 1977. He got married and I was in the wedding and I wanted him to come. It was in New York. It was in Queens. They were from Queens. And I wanted him to come with the family, you know, all the family was coming. And no, he couldn't do that. He didn't do it, you know. And then, so we came, had a wonderful time here. We stayed a few days and all my family went back home. And my brother and his wife went on their honeymoon. They went to California for 2 weeks. When they came back, the day that they came back, I was at my mom's that day. And they asked me to drive them to Center City. And I really wasn't feeling that well. And I said, well, I was joking around with him. I said, well, I'll take y'all, but if something happens with my baby, I'm going to blame you. Joking. So I take him, but I wasn't feeling well. and I had told my mom that I just wasn't feeling well, and she asked me what was going on. I said, well, like discomfort or whatever. She said, oh, the baby, you're 6 months, the baby's probably adjusting, sitting,
True.
getting in position or whatever. She said, if you need me, she was going to my older brother. She said, if you need me, call me, whatever. And so later on that day, I came out the house and I went to walk down the steps, and I could barely walk down the steps, and my neighbor saw me. And she asked me what was wrong, and I told her I had pain. And she said, okay, we're going to get you to the hospital. They took me to the hospital, and I lost the baby. But I had called him. I knew where he was gambling, and I had called him and told him that I wasn't feeling well. And he said, all right, I'm gambling. And he didn't come until after I lost the baby. So I, for a while I had blamed him, but it was God's will, and it was what was best.
He didn't come to, so he
came to the hospital.
He did come to the hospital, but the baby was gone by the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he told you that in the hospital that don't worry, we'll have more children.
You could have another baby.
And then when he did that, what was your response? Spat on them.
I tried to.
Keep that open so air coming.
But I knew.
You tried to spit. Well,
Yeah.
pass by.
I did. I tried. Couldn't reach.
While in the bed?
Mm-hmm. Couldn't reach. Because I was hurt. I was because see that was the fine to me. That was like the final. It was because it was things prior to that I felt like he didn't care. You know what I mean? He didn't care. So like now you come here with this. When I called you and told you, maybe we could have saved the baby. I don't know if I would have got there sooner. Maybe, but it was God's will. I'm fine with it.
So
now.
when you left the hospital, it was over for you and Malik?
No, when I left the hospital, I went to my mom's for a while because I was depressed. And I went to my mom's, and people were coming to see me, and everybody said, I was young, you'll have another baby, whatever.
Do you think that your depression had to do with anything pertaining to postpartum? Like now in retrospect?
I never thought about it that way. No, I think it was more so because I wanted the baby. And then to find out that it was a girl. I wanted a girl. I wanted the baby, and I wanted a girl. And I lost the baby, and it was a girl. So I think it was I don't think it was postpartum.
So you went into a depression, but you and Malik were still together?
Supposed to have been. But I was at my parents', and then I went back to the apartment, and I just didn't feel comfortable. And I lost the baby June 27th. I left Malik my birthday. My birthday's always something.
So you left it
and went back to my parents.
Okay, but you left this house fully. I mean, you
fully left the
stuff,
apartment, left everything in it, and went home. Went home because I could always go home. My parents, I could always go home.
What is so? First of all, what if you don't mind? What is your background as far as ethnicity? Where's your family from?
My family is from Virginia. Well, my mom's my maternal grandfather's family was from Virginia. My grandmother and them were from a different part of Virginia. They didn't make it like North Carolina, South Carolina, or anything. But they were French and Irish and Indian. My grandmother, Thelma, was half Indian, half black. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, her father was full-blood Indian. So that's where we get the cheekbones and the coloring and all.
Where does the green eyes come from?
My grandfather. My mother's father was the same complexion as me, same green eyes.
Got it. Are you the only one with green eyes in your family?
My brother above me has like bluish green, but he's got the sandy blonde hair and all. So when people look at him, it's like normal, but when they look at me because I'm darker, they do a double take. My brother is like normal, but people say when they see him walking down the street, they think like, oh, your brother looked like a little Jewish guy walking down the street.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
So, and you're back in the house, you're back home, and then how long until you meet our man?
Funny.
My man Jackie.
So I met Jackie when I was with Malik.
Oh.
Only because I have several godchildren, and my oldest goddaughter, and second. I was walking her down the street in the carriage, and he was in his car. Malik had talked about him he had mentioned Jackie because Jackie was cousin to a woman that he had a child with that he was seeing off and on between me and her. And so he would talk about this Jackie. Jackie got this sharp car, and Jackie this, Jackie. I didn't know who Jackie was. And so one day I'm walking down the street, and this car is coming up the street, and this guy named Dave was on the passenger side. Jackie was driving, and Dave hollers, "Hey," and I said, "Hi." I said, "Oh, hi." And Jackie's looking at me, and I don't know what he said. And then Dave introduced me to Jackie. And I said, "Hi, how you doing?" And I kept on going. That was it. And then after I ran into him again when I was pregnant. And we talked about me having the baby and all. He asked me when the baby was due and all, we talked about that. And then I ran into him after I lost the baby. And he said, "Oh, I was waiting at the bus stop one day." And he said, "Oh, what did you have?" And I said, "Oh, I lost the baby." He said, "Oh, you lost?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Wow." So we talked a little while, ran into him again. And then he asked me, he said, "Why don't you let me take you out? Go to movies?" I was like, "No, I don't do that." Because I'm the type of person, first of all, I knew he was married. Secondly, I like to take a break in between. So I'm not the person that goes from one guy to the next guy. I like to chill for a minute. So I just come out of that situation with Malik, and I didn't think, and that to me wasn't gonna go nowhere because I knew he was married. So I was like, nah.
So he was married.
He was married. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, no. Then I ran to him again. He asked me again, and I shot him down again. And then the third time I ran into him, he asked me to go out, and I said, "Well, okay, all right." And I said, "What time you gonna come get me?" He said, "I'll come get you at 8:30. I said, "All right." 8:35, I was gone. He was late. I left.
Yo.
And then what
You
happened?
got to know, I'm 21 years old. Like, come on, I'm hanging with my friends. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't been through that heartache. I just come out of that. I'm not.
You ain't playing with nobody.
Yeah, Jackie was so sharp. I mean, and like he was a guy that I knew I could fall for this guy. You know what I'm saying? And I just didn't. At that time, I just didn't want that. At that time.
Did you feel the way though? Because you said that Malik knew who he was and always spoke
No,
about him.
I wouldn't care. I didn't think
about that.
Malik was done.
Okay.
I didn't care nothing about that. That had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
It was the situation, and I, I was just trying to be careful for myself. I just come out of this crazy situation, know, and that once we went out, that was it.
So he was late. 8:35, you left.
I was gone.
And where did he come find you?
Nope. I came in. Well, I came in that night. I didn't see my mom, but the next day, my mom, she said, "This guy came by here for you yesterday." I said, "Oh, he did come." I said, "What time did he come?" She said, "About 8:30, 8:35 or something." I laughed. Yeah. She said, he was sharp. I said, "Oh, yeah." I mean, I knew it was him. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of laughed. And then I ran into him again. And he said, "Why you do that?" He said, "Why you do that?" I said, "You was late."
So what?
Wow.
So during that time, the dating stages, things were great, right? Did you know what he did while you were in the beginning? So
I knew I knew what he did when I met him. I mean, because Malik would talk about him, gotcha. Not a lot, but he would, in a good way though. He would talk about the car. He's getting money. He just got a beautiful car. It would come up periodically. Okay. So I knew about him. I wasn't young and adventurous. I wasn't scared of that. I didn't know anything about it, but I wasn't. Because I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. That's, you know what I mean? I didn't think.
You were just having fun. You was 21, having fun. You
having
was outside.
Fun. There you go.
I have a question about Jackie. Was he Black Mafia or was he an associate of Black Mafia? Was he an actual member? Because some say he's a leader and some say he's an associate. He
was never, okay. This was before my time, okay?
What is Black Mafia? Can you tell us?
Black Mafia is an organization of brothers that got together, sort of like the Council out of New York.
Okay.
And they formed a group and I guess they took an oath and did things together. That's all I know. But it was before my time with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that he was affiliated with them. Now, to be the leader of that, no, but he was part of that.
Okay, but so did you? While he was a part of it, did you see any prominent members of Black Mafia? Like, okay,
No, not really.
Okay, so was it like a secret society thing?
No,
Was it
I don't
secret?
think so. I just think that
By
the time we got to, so we got together and we started dating in 77, November 77, right?
Got it.
It was quiet. We kept it quiet. So we didn't really let anybody know until like January, February of the next year. And how it came out was that two things. His cousin, so we had been out one night and he brought me home maybe like 10 o'clock or whatever. And he said, okay, I'll call you tomorrow. I said, okay. So I go in the house and I don't know, maybe within an hour or so, he calls me and he says, hey, you still up? I said, yeah. He said, I'm gonna come get you. It was kind of weird, but I said, okay, you know. So he comes back to get me. So we go to Jersey. We stay all night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened at that time. Like, I know he went home, but I don't know what happened that he came back. So we in Jersey and we stayed the whole, overnight and went to eat the next day. And then just taking our time, he brought me back home. He said later when he brought me back home, I didn't see him. The undercovers they were known, Starsky and Hutch at that time. That's who they were. And they knew him, he knew them. And so he said they were following us, but I didn't see him. And he dropped me off at my house was like a half a block from Broad Street.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he got to Broad Street, he turned and they followed him, pulled him over, and they wanted to let him know that his cousin had got killed. And that they told him, they said, Jack, let us handle this. That's what he told me happened. So with the funeral and people wanting to know, because now it's like 3:00 in the afternoon, where have you been? People have been looking for him because his cousin got killed.
Mm-hmm. And
And people wonder, well, where have you been? Where were you? Nobody could find us because we in a hotel. And so that's how he, it kind of slowly came out. And then there was a club that we were all hanging out. Well, me and my girlfriends were hanging out called Whispers. And we were hanging out there. And so one night, he knew I used to go there. Right. And so he said, let's go out. And I said, all right. So that was when I think about that when the movie comes on now, Staying Alive with John Travolta and all that's when that had just come out. And we went to Whispers and we had on our white suits. It was nice. It was fun. So that was like our kind of like our coming out night. Mm-hmm. So people saw us together. Yeah, because we was at that club was a hot club. That club at that time was like your Red Parrot here back in the day. Oh, that's right, y'all young.
You don't know. Come on.
Y'all don't know nothing about the Red Parrot. They used to have a Red Parrot here, and that was a big club in New York.
Coco Cabana and stuff like that. I don't know when the Red Parrot.
Red Parrot. Ask somebody about the Red Parrot. One time, my cousin did a fashion show there for Patti LaBelle, and him and I came and went to the Red Parrot. I had only been there like once or twice.
Mm.
But that was a big club called the Red Parrot. But I forget exactly where it was. Was it Manhattan or where it was? But it was a big club, like a Studio 54.
Okay.
So you had Studio 54, and then I think the Red Parrot came maybe after that or whatever.
It was in 1985. The Red Parrot, a nightclub in New York City.
Probably Manhattan.
It was. Wow, it's a lot of people that was in the Red Parrot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you been to the Red Parrot before?
Yeah, we went to Red Parrot. We would come do the to New York on New Year's Eve and do the dropping of the ball and watch the thing and all that. Jackie liked to do the stuff like that.
So okay, so you and Jackie, they took. So when you say Starsky and Hutch, let's go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what their names, or y'all just called them Starsky and Hutch?
That's what they called them. That's what I knew who they were. I knew they would say they go Starsky and Hutch. They were undercover cops.
Now, okay, so then now you and Jackie are serious.
Mm-hmm.
He's still married at the time, though.
Mm-hmm.
But you ain't care.
Well, I won't say I didn't care, but yeah, he's still married at the time. But he's kind of like between the two places.
Got it. And things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to ask you, because I know when I was coming up, the older men used to come by and if a girl was like 18, 17, 18, they'll be around them. I mean, you were 21. So a lot of the older men, they overcompensate or they take care of the girls. So the girls don't, they've experienced something new that they never experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like that with you and Jackie? I know that, did he shower you with gifts and love and things that you never experienced before at that time as a 21-year-old girl?
Jackie was the type of guy that, no, he, as they said, tricking. He wasn't a trick. He didn't believe in that.
I ain't going that far.
He didn't believe in that. But as time went on and we got closer, like he would do a birthday gift for a whole week, or something like that. Or we spent a lot of time in New York. He took me to L.A. You read about that, right? He took me to L.A.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read about that.
Just being with him was enough for me. It wasn't about gifts and things like that. It was just being with him.
So when he took you to L.A., but I already took you to L.A., and then when I already took you to L.A., then I read that you went to L.A. separately.
Well, no,
he
took me to L.A. the very first time, February of '78.
Yes.
He took me to L.A. because he had to meet with his people, whatever. I had never been before.
And you didn't know
yeah, I had never been before. So he took me, and then I started going because I made friends up there, a couple girlfriends, and so I would go out to L.A. sometimes.
Before I pass it to G, I want to know, when did you find out that he was getting money like that, the drugs? When did you find that out?
So when we went to LA in '78, things were slow for him at that time. Was no product around, and we went to LA and he met with his people, and then that was February. By April, I started to see the fruits of that, what was going on, I had never been around that before.
So initially, he was just. Things were slow.
I think things were slow. I think when we started seeing each other at that time, they probably didn't. It was dry. It was dry. Yeah.
Then he went to L.A.
He went to L.A. But his partner had a person here that he was seeing. We used to come here. Matter of fact, we came. I'll never forget this night. We were out West Philly at that bar. And we started going there all the time. And I met my girlfriend Pam. She was seeing his partner, and we're still really good close friends, me and Pam. And so that one night, it was somebody's birthday, and they were like, yo, we going to New York. And I'm like, we going to New York? And Jackie said, yeah, you drive, Brown. I said, all right. And it was like 5 carloads of us. And we came to Queens to a party. Ronnie Bump's party. You know Ronnie Bump?
Mm-hmm.
It's my Ronnie Bump's party.
He's still around?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Pam talks to him. I send messages when Pam talks to him, yeah. But yeah, we laugh about that now because me and Pam never got high. Like we didn't get high, and so but we could hang right with him like all night long. We laugh about that. We was like, how did we do that? Like, I drove up. We came here, went to a party. When we left New York, it was daybreak. We've been up all night.
And drove right back.
And drove back.
Well, that's different. No, I don't know.
We didn't stay. We didn't stay. We drove back. That's where first time I saw Large, who was Pam's guy at the time. He was in the first car, and they went through the toll, and he told the toll people all 5 of these cars, and we went through.
I have a question. You and Jackie. So Jackie gets shot, right? And how long in the relationship does he get shot? He gets shot in the club.
No.
So
no,
he didn't get shot in the club.
He didn't get shot in the club. No. He got hit in a crossfire.
But it was outside. But
outside of a bar.
Outside of a bar.
Outside of a bar. The bar where his neighborhood, 22nd and Catherine.
Got it.
Was a bar, and his friend Earl's brother Stevie had a beef with guys, I think from Taylor Street or somewhere. And it's all South Philly. This is all South Philly. And so Stevie was in the bar, and Jackie sees that they're there, and Jackie told Stevie to wait. He would go handle it. He went out there and tried to start, I think it was Carpenter Street or Taylor Street, somebody. He started talking to him, and Stevie comes out, hides trees, and starts giving out wolf tickets, and one thing led to another. And he got shot. Jackie got shot, got hit in the arm. But Jackie, when Jackie got hit, it went in his arm and ripped through his lung. ended up in the well of his neck, but he was able to drive himself to the hospital. Stevie became paralyzed.
Mm.
Yeah, he was.
Were you there that day?
No, I was home. I was at my apartment, but somebody called. He had just left, and somebody called and said, Jackie's just been shot.
Interesting. So Stevie ended up paralyzed. Jackie ends up shot, and Jackie spends some time in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hear a story about when Jackie was in the hospital, he asked you to watch money for him, and you end up spending some of that money. Is that true?
Yes, partially. So he left this money in my drawer in the apartment. He told me if I needed, I could use it. Well, I hadn't touched it, and so it was like $1,000. It wasn't. And so Pam, when he gets shot, I'm an emotional person. Mm-hmm. And so Pam says, well, and Pam and Large like, oh, y'all should go, let's go to, why don't you go to Atlantic City? Resorts had just really opened. It was the first casino in Atlantic City. And so it was like, oh yeah, I got the money in the drawer. So I took like $500 and went to Atlantic City. And then he gets out the hospital, he's between my place, his place, whatever. And I guess it dawns on him that he left some money in the apartment. He said, where's the money? I said, well, I used some of it. He said, you used some of it? He said, that's the first time he called me a I was like, you called me. You spent my money on me. You told me I could use it. So yeah, that's what happened.
So how much you spent?
Very minor. $500.
You spent $500 on, girl?
I don't even remember. There was no money though.
There was no money back then. $500.
Yeah, there was no money.
Speaking of privilege,
he just wanted to fuss. That was
okay. So, all right, that happens, and then where do we go next in the situation?
Well, we would go in and out. We would go in and out because, see, when he got shot, prior to him getting shot, I had never seen him high. And he told me about it. He told me about what he went through years earlier and, how he wasn't getting money because he was getting high, because he was doing stuff. He got himself together and realized he could, make money. And so, but we were in and out. And so we would be off and on. And that summer, the next summer, 79, that's when Large died suddenly. Large died, I think it was August 5th. Of 79, Large suddenly died of a heart attack, but they thought maybe somebody had poisoned him because he was only 31 years old. He had just turned 31 in July. He died in August. Wow. And so it was like panic, Pam called and we were at my place. Jackie and I jumped up. We go to the house and the body was still there and it was just a mess. So they're running around trying to collect, the money because people die, go to jail, people think they don't have to pay. So they run around. So now it's my birthday, and he would have somebody pick me up from work every day. So when his friend Bob comes to pick me up from work, I was like, well, where is he? I haven't seen him. I didn't even talk to him that day. So Bob said, I think he's over Earl's with us. So I said, I'm going over there. He said, no, don't go over there. So I said, I'm going over there. I haven't talked to him all day. So we go over there and he's standing out there. The Mexican sombrero hat on, the oversized shirt. And he loved them. I guess they're called Dickie pants now with the pockets. They got like cargo pants. He loved that. Yeah, he loved when he had a lot of pockets. And he always kept Larry and Barry undershirts. So
those are guns.
2 guns, yeah. So I get out the car, I go over and I say, hey, he said, hey. I said, I didn't talk to you today. He said, Brown, look, we got to get this money. He said, look, just go home. I'll be there later. So I was like, all right, but I was angry, spoiled.
Yeah, but you wasn't talking like that. Don't give a,
I
you
was.
bring me down. I'm gonna close my eyes.
I just said. He said. I said I haven't talked to you all day. Like it's my birthday. He said, yeah, I know, Brown, but go home. Like we got to get this money. We got money out here. We got to get it. He said, I'll call you later. I'll come by later, whatever. I'm like, all right. But as I walked away, he had this thing about this. So as I go to walk away from him, I turn around and I look at him. I see him. I look at him. I see the gun. I never was afraid of Jackie with guns. He had him guns around the whole time. I never was afraid. And when I went to take the next step, I'm hit.
What made him shoot you? Like,
Well, he never would say that. See, you got to understand when we went through this thing about the shooting, because I could never understand, how do you shoot me? He said, Brown, I didn't mean to shoot you, but you did shoot me though. He said, but I didn't mean, I just shot too straight. He even called my mother. He's high. He called my mother and he said, Miss Brown, she said, yes. He said, I just shot your daughter. She said, is she alive? He said, yes. She said, where is she? He said, they just took her to Graduate. That was the closest hospital. And she said, okay. And she told my father, get up to the hospital. He just shot your daughter. Listen, if he was here now, he'd tell you, I didn't mean to shoot her. So that went on for a while until and I just finally said, he said, why can't you just understand? I said, I will never understand how you pulled a gun on me. I'll never understand that.
I'm going to ask that though, like, because I could see it, right? Do you blame it that he was, because they said that he was high on prescription medicine. Was he high on drugs too?
He was high. At that time, I think he was still taking the pills because they had given him the pain pills.
Yes.
But he told me years ago he used to take the Red Devils and stuff like that. He had those. He was taking those. He was high.
Got it.
He didn't like a speed high. He did like, what's that stuff called? He used to like Monster. But that would put him in a different thing. There was no excuse for that. I just left it alone because we could never agree.
Got it.
So I decided, ain't no need. But what I did tell him was, when my son was born, we got in an argument, and I told him, I said, one day I'm going to tell my son what you did. No, you won't. Yes, I will. Who else going to tell him? You think I'm going to let somebody in the street tell him what happened to his mother? He got to know. I'm going to tell him.
Do you honestly think in your heart, like when you think in retrospect, that he meant to shoot you, or you think that you could say, well, Flip, G Money, he was high. When people get high, or do you think that because you like a no nonsense?
I will
person.
Never.
Yeah, you know, because it looked like
I'm not going to give him a pass on it. I can't give him a pass.
He said he shot too straight. That sounds crazy.
He was crazy.
That sounds crazy.
He was seriously. He really believed. But when you high,
right,
you gonna believe what you gonna believe. I mean, he showed me how to shoot. He could shoot. I know he could shoot. But you shoot that well, you didn't need to hit me.
Exactly.
I'm walking away from you. I was down the street. I wasn't like up on him. Probably, thank God, because they told me. So the bullet went in and out. I was in the hospital a few days, but then I did physical therapy at the University of Pennsylvania Hospital. When I did physical therapy at the University of Penn Hospital, they told me, they said, were you athletic? And I said, yeah, I used to run. They said, that was a good thing because my muscles were so strong in my leg, but it went straight through. I could have lost my leg. I could have bled out. You know how many people have died from hitting an artery in their leg and they bled out? There was no excuse for that. And this is what I never did. I never said, oh, okay, all right then. No, I never did that. I just left it alone because we're not going to ever agree on this.
Right.
And so we were the type with each other. He didn't nag me. I didn't nag him. When we would sit down and talk about subjects that were serious, he sat across from me, and we talked. It was no heated discussion. I mean, it could be some very serious topics, and it wasn't heated or anything. Mm-hmm. But somebody would come to the decision of, oh, okay, all right, and that's it, and we just leave it at that, and it might not ever come back up again. So the shooting never really came back up.
So that moment, was that the moment for you that was like the Malik moment when you were in the hospital and Malik was like, oh, you have another baby? Was that the moment for you with Jackie now? Is that the first time that you?
No.
Oh, so prior to that, you guys already had some kind of
No, Jackie and I were different. Jackie was a total different person than Malik.
Right.
When that happened, I was hurt. I was embarrassed. I wanted to just disappear. You know what I mean? Like, so quite naturally, we're not together. He's going his way, I'm going mine, but he would check on me from time to time or have people check on me from time to time. And one of those times I told him I wanted to go away. That's how I was just embarrassed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so he said, well, what do you want? I said, I want to go out to LA because I had my friends. So he said, all right, So I went out, I came out LA and stayed for about 2 weeks. And then I came back home. And then eventually we started talking again.
Okay. But that was the first time or something that was that drastic for you and him to kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
What made you move on and not, what made you forgive him? What was it about him that you got shot? You look like you're headstrong, like, nah, I got shot. I don't care. You shot me.
Mm-hmm.
What made you get
Love.
past it?
Crazy love.
So, so love does
Crazy love, man. Listen, I'll never love like that again. Somebody asked me that recently.
Tell us about
Would
that.
you like to have a relationship like you had with Jackie? Hell to the no. No. First of all, when you're young like that, I was 21 years old. I was in the kind of love you don't even eat. Like I wouldn't even eat. I was renting my grandmother's house, and Jackie would stay with me from time to time. And my mother came around there, like I'm in fetal position on the sofa. Did you eat today? No, Mom. Get up and eat.
Wow.
That's love. It was heartbreak and love. And when we would go through these things until I finally realized, oh, he gonna come back. Once I realized, like it became like a pattern of, with the breakup or I'm done or whatever, and then I don't see him for a week or two, and he come back. So once I realized that, I said, oh, that's how this go. So let me start doing me.
Talk about it.
You know?
You cheated on Jackie?
Huh? No, I didn't cheat, but I started going out with my friends.
So you never cheated on him?
No, I never. He'd have killed me.
Oh, because we if you say doing me, that means
no, doing me, going out with my, because it was more like a sit around waiting kind of thing, and then when we break up, I'm crying all the time. And no. Let me start hanging out with my girlfriends.
Okay. Got you. So we just thought about something totally different.
No, listen, Jackie, no, I couldn't have cheated on Jackie. The town too small for one thing.
Was Jackie respected in the neighborhood?
Very much so.
Because, and this is no disrespect, a lot of people, when you tell a story, some people are respected, but some people are feared.
No, respected, but could be feared.
Got it.
But Jackie was people knew, like, when I hear the stories about Jackie now, when I run into people that knew him, that went to school with him, or these are people that were not in the street. These are people that he knew from schools or neighborhood or growing up, right? They tell me stories about what Jackie did for them or what Jackie did for their family, or, man, this guy took my coat one time, man. Jack went right, man. Jack went right and took care of that for me. Or somebody's funeral, somebody's family member passed away. He was respected. He was generous. He was but just don't cross him. That's when you saw the other Jackie. But as long as things were good, he tried to look out. He believed that everybody could make money. He believed that everybody was in position to make money. Just don't cross him.
Wow.
That's how he was.
So you going back and forth to LA. Did you open up a business in LA?
Yes.
What's the name of it?
Jackie Enterprises. It was custom sportswear company.
Tell us about it.
So when he first sent us out to LA in 86, January 3rd, 86 is when I arrived in LA. He sent us because it was a war going on.
In the neighborhood?
In Philly, in South Philly.
A war between who?
Well, people were trying to take him out, and I guess he was trying to survive it, in that business, it's always a situation where people don't feel as though you should have what you have, even though you took the chances to get what you got. But it's a dirty business. So there's always somebody that feels like they want to take, or they can take your position. But now since I got in the business, the weird part about that I learned is, well, okay, but if you take me out, my people not going to fool with you. So then what you going to do?
Right.
Because your objective to try to take me out is so you can take control, right? in order for you to take control, my people got to deal with you after I'm out the way. But see, we came up in a time where there was an allegiance and a believe it or not, in that game, there was loyalty. So the people that he was doing business with at that time, before Auntie came along, they were close. Like, they would come to our home in New Jersey and stay with me. You know, he'd be out doing whatever, but I was responsible for these people.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So we were like family. And then when we go out there, we'd be with them. You know what I mean? So it was a close-knit thing. But during those times, I would say from like 78, 79, 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 years was good, solid run, 7 years. Then things began to change. And that's when problems started to happen.
On the block.
And I see, because I didn't understand then what I understand now, you know, I used to say things to him like, well, why can't you stop? Or why can't we just go away? Or why? I'm not running from nobody. I understand that now, you know what I mean? But I didn't understand that then, but I understand. Just like, you know, when he, and I know we're going to get into this, when he told me that he had fronted Dennis that Kia Coke and Dennis owed him $25,000, I said to him, let it go.
Your force. I read that.
Let it go. And he said, I can't let that go. Because if he think he can take 25, then the next guy think he going to take 50. You know, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
I have a question. Sorry, G.
Mm.
With, at the time, right, because how long you guys been together?
77 to 80. She died in 86.
Okay.
Almost 10 years.
So I have a question. Did he invest in any business out there? Did he have a business? You said you went and got a store in L.A.
We had a furniture store one time. We had a furniture store. Well, it was really
in Philly.
In Philly. It was called the Right Place Furniture.
Oh,
and
that's a nice name.
that was what I wanted to do, right? So he did that for me. But right as we opened up, here come all hell breaking loose. So I couldn't even, that's why he sent me away with my son, because he had gotten word that my son and I had been sick with bronchitis during the Christmas holiday. So the store was closed. I was at my parents'. He was all over the place. And one of his associates got killed on December 7th. And so we get sick, and I'm staying at my mom's, and he called me and told me that he was going to call me soon, and I would just need to pack what I could pack because he wanted to send me to L.A. And I said, okay. I didn't find out until right before he died that the reason why he sent us to L.A. was because he was told when I opened up the store after the New Year, somebody was going to kidnap me. So he didn't want to take the chance. So that's why he sent us to L.A. And then when I got to L.A., I said, I ain't never coming back. That's it for me.
So he had connections out there and everything.
That's where his connects was.
Got you.
See, his connect.
So
that's why we went to L.A. in 78. See?
So he knew. So you met Auntie back then?
No, I met Auntie later.
Okay,
Auntie wasn't that connect at that time. He had another connect at that time.
Okay, another. Was it Hispanic?
Black.
Black. Oh, snap. In L.A.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So you go out there in L.A. You're out there in L.A. And you're flying back and forth, or?
No, I'm in L.A. My son's only 3. We're in L.A. and we're stationary. We're there. Yeah, we're there the whole month of January. And then in February, around Valentine's Day, is when he called and said that I could come home. We could come back home. And we had just bought a house. I'd only been in that house 6 months. And I said, I am home. I ain't coming back. He came out there and tried to convince me to come back home. And I said, no. I said, why can't you come out here? Why can't you work from here? Because his connects were there. So why can't you work for me? He said, what about my people? Your people? We your people. I'm your wife. That's your son. What are you talking about? Well, what are they going to do? What are we going to do? I said, I'm not going. I'm not going. So he left. And then we would talk, you know. We had a patch where there was nothing because I started seeing somebody in LA. That didn't work out long. But he knew because he had a chick. He had a chick in Philly. I had a guy in LA.
Don't try to move so fast. You see, you real good. You real good.
She was outside doing her thing.
Yeah.
You don't have
You get tired.
True. Did y'all get married?
Did we get married?
Yes.
Me and Jackie?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got married in 83.
At 83. So, but at the time you were in LA, you weren't married.
We
yet.
were married. I'm in LA. When I got to LA, it was 86.
Okay, got it. So, did he? So he got a divorce and everything.
Oh yeah, he got a divorce in 81.
And did you ever meet his wife? Did she ever try to press you?
Let's not get into that.
She did.
She didn't try to press me. No, she didn't try to press me. No. She didn't try to press me. But I seen her. We ran into her one time with his two daughters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
Was it cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was cool.
No.
Cool.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Thelma, you different. You're supposed to understand her. She was the one that was the wife at first.
No, I do, but just don't step to me though.
Facts.
No. I
Yeah,
no.
respect. You're right. Got it. You don't have to.
I mean, that ain't gonna happen. I told her. No, we not. No, and I told him. I said, "Did you see what she did?" He said, "What she do?" He said, "What?" He said, "She know. It's okay." I wasn't gonna. That wasn't going. The two little they over there. We not. We not. But you're not. Listen.
He was smooth like that. Yeah, everybody in one area. He was smooth like that. Yeah, everybody in one area.
No. They were over there. We were over here. He didn't even see them. It was Easter. We had taken the baby out. And I happened to look over, I see distance. I happened to look over there and I said, "Oh." I said, "Look." And he said, "Oh," and he went over, just his girls and stuff. And then he came back and then it was like a buffet. So, he went up and then I went up. When I went up, she went up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was she athletic as well?
No.
Okay. Got it.
No.
So, okay.
It was cool though. It was, it wasn't a scene.
It was peace.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Just mumbling to each other.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
No, it was not. No.
So, you're in LA. He came out there to visit. Then there was some time you guys didn't speak.
Sometimes we didn't see each other, but we talked.
All the time, see each other.
We did, yeah.
And who was this guy you were dating out there?
I met a guy riding down the street. Me and my girlfriend Blue, we riding down the street and we see one of the guys she knew, and they pulled us over and we start talking or whatever. And, I started seeing this guy and Jackie asked me, did I meet somebody? And I said, yes. Yes, I did. He said, okay.
He was upset, huh?
Well, he said, put him on the phone. I put him on the phone.
Put him on the phone?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm. Put him on the phone.
Take over this, G. Take over.
Put him on the phone.
Take over this, G.
I put him on the phone.
Wait, so you
and I saw the guy going, okay, all right, okay, all right.
What do you think he said to the guy? Like
you better not put your hands on it if you do. I'm kill you.
Wow.
Her or my son. Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, what? Put him on the phone. So you
put him on the phone.
So you and this guy was serious?
No, it was no.
You
wasn't serious.
You a low key player. You know that.
It was.
You a low key player.
It was fun. It was fun. I mean, I'm way 3,000 miles away.
He was light skinned or dark?
You know what I mean? Dark. Light is a specialty for me. Like I gravitate dark. You see my son's picture?
See your son's picture. He's amazing.
Handsome black chocolate.
So you like dark men.
I like dark men, but I've dated lighter men before, but I kind of.
We saw D. We'll get to him.
Yeah, D. Yes, that's my sweetie. We talk all the time.
Your sweetie, what? I'm sorry.
That's my sweetie, D. Keish met D. We was out there last year.
Sweetie D or sweetie?
Sweetie. No, that's my sweetie. No, we good. We good friends.
I thought you said sweetie.
No.
It sounded like you said, I'm sorry. I was saying
Sweetie D.
I was saying, you heard that too, right?
I heard too.
No. No,
I was like, I know. I said,
No.
you're scaring me. Man.
No,
you
no,
too
that's
smooth
my
with it.
sweetie.
Mm.
No, we
Got it.
good friends. We good. We solid friends. We are.
So, all right. So you spoke to him.
Mhm.
Boom. What is the next transition? After you spoke to the guy, you didn't come back to Philly yet.
I would come back to Philly
To see
like
your
every
family?
couple months to see my family and funerals and stuff.
Mm.
And Jackie and I would talk, and we started talking to try to reconcile. We would talk. We started talking every night to try to reconcile. And I had a million questions because I had decided, and I told him that I had decided I wasn't gonna. For number one, I wasn't the person that I used to be. That's number one. He even said to me, he said, "You know, Brown, you have really matured. You're a grown woman now." Like he could see the difference in me, right? So I'm not going to accept the stuff that I went through before with you.
Mhm.
Things got to be different. So at night we would talk,
Mhm.
and I would ask him why he did this and why he did that and why he did this and why he did that. It was like true confession time, you know?
And he would admit it.
Yep. Jackie taught me a long time ago, don't ask questions if you don't want to know
The answer to
the
it.
answer to it.
Hmm.
So if you asked him, he gonna tell you. Bless you.
That's-
Thank you.
He gonna tell you.
Wow. And he had a girl out there.
In Philly. Yeah.
Mm. Was she brown?
Yeah. She's built real nice girl. Mhm.
Mm.
Not a pretty girl, but
That's hate.
not
That's
a pretty
hate.
girl, but she's
That's
built
hate,
nice.
Thelma.
But I
Oh,
said
wow.
to
Thelma, that's hate,
him,
OG.
I said to him, listen, he wanted me to go shop. No. You got a girl. Go, let her go do all that. Well, Brown, everybody's not as smart as you. Well, you should have got a smart one, because I'm not doing it.
Mm.
Mm.
Talk
See,
that
that's
talk.
grown talk. That's when you grow up,
Uh-huh.
right? That's when you grow up and you say, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not taking this. I'm not
Facts.
doing that. I matured. I grew up. So, and now, you know, and I have a son, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's not about you anymore. It's about, and that's what my mother would always tell me, you know, once you become a mother, you're going to make decisions you never thought you'd make. You're going to do things you never thought you'd do because you have children. You have a child that you have to see about. It's no longer just about you.
Mm.
Your family loved Jackie, though. They liked him a lot.
Mm-hmm. They did.
Did he look out for them?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my father worked. My father
Shout out to the OG.
worked and took care of my mother. So it wasn't like he had to provide for them financially or anything. We would do good, nice things for them. Like one anniversary, I remember saying, he asked me, what did I want to do? And I said, well, I like to do their downstairs over. So we did that. Yeah, like he loved my parents, especially my mother. He was very close to my. Listen, I found out when Jackie died, and I tried to start going around getting stuff because his stuff was scattered, you know, from him moving around or whatever. He had put stuff in my mother's name. He trusted my mother. My mother would count his money. Him and my mother had a very good relationship, but she would always say, "I'm gonna be the one to kill him," because she didn't like sometimes the way he was treating me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, like they told me one time, my parents, they said, we love him. We just didn't love him for you. You know what I mean? But they grew. Jackie was just a good person. He had his ways like everybody, but he was a good person. So they couldn't help but, you know, like him.
So your parents knew what he did, obviously.
He did. And
And
my
they were okay.
grandfather, my grandpa was really down with him because my grandfather
Whoa.
said, you take very good care of my granddaughter and my great grandson.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need me to do? Because he wanted to put the trust fund up for my son for school.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather said, I'll do it because you take good care of her. They were old school, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Not so much my mother, because like when I would complain to my mother, she, why you leave him? And my grandmother would say, my father's mother would say, she'd listen to me. She'd listen to me. I'd go there. She'd listen to me. And then she said, when you going home? You got everything that people dream about. See, that's old school.
Right.
You know, they feel like when a person is providing for you, and you have what you need. You're not wanting for, you're not hungry. You got a beautiful home, and that's old school.
But also look where they come from, though. The old schools, the South, right? The South.
Well,
and
Virginia, yeah.
Virginia. Is Virginia considered the South?
Going towards the South.
Okay, Virginia. But look where they come from as far as the times back then, right? Black people had to stick together. Would you say we had to stick together? And we had to be one. You know what I mean? Talking about your great grandparents and your grand, like, you know, they, so they was around. So I can understand their vision of that. A lot of times back in those days, black families were really united. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially during the Jim Crow, the racist era. So I understand.
We were a close family. You know, we were a close family. So, you know, they didn't like what he did, but they you know, he respected them, they respected him, and I was comfortable.
What about his family though? Were you ever cool with his? Oh, whoa.
So his family was different, and that's something he said. He said, you know, you taught me about love, and I taught you about the street, because, you know, he said, like, growing up, he had to look out for his siblings and stuff. It was 2 sets of them, so. He was of the first set, which was 4 kids. His mother was married to his father's 4 kids. And then she got with somebody else and had 9 additional kids. Jeez. So he was, you know, he said, like, they would be drinking and doing whatever. And he had to go out, you know, back in those times when Jackie was almost 10 years older than me. And so he said, you know, shoveling snow and carrying grocery bags and all. He would do whatever he thought he needed to do because he needed to take care of his siblings. So, you know, so it was different.
Wow.
It was different.
Wow.
We definitely come from 2 different backgrounds.
So, I mean, I don't know if you got any more questions this time, but
no.
I want to get to now to you when you started to get into the business.
Wait, no, hold on.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't know if you want to get to that jump yet.
So now you're there. Speaking of Jackie, now this is where it gets a little bit different, right? Because this is 86, you're in LA, that's the same year he got murdered.
January, I got to LA, 86. He dies August 86.
Okay, August 86, after your birthday?
Day before.
Technically
the day before, but I didn't find him for 4 days.
So here's the thing. When was the last time, that August, when was the last time you spoke to him?
That morning.
The morning of the
August
7th.
7th.
He told you that he was going to Dennis' house.
No, did not. I talked to him that morning because the night before he had someone, this woman that would work for him. She was a mule for him. I had to make sure that she got on her plane back to Philly. So we were up late. We were up to like LA time. We were up to maybe 4 a.m, right? And so we were planning my 30th birthday party, but he didn't know, right? And so the party was going to be on the 16th. My birthday is the 8th. So that morning, a friend of mine a woman I was friends with at the time, she had come to LA to see me with her 2 little grandsons who were playing with my son. But I let her stay at my place. I stayed at Blue's because we had to get the package together, whatever, and get the person on the plane. So when he calls Blue's house that morning, it was 9:00. And the reason why I know it was 9:00 is because I hadn't been asleep that long, and they called me to the phone. And when I get on, I said, "Who is it?" He says, "Jack." And I get on the phone, and he says, he's fussing with me because I'm not making the decision quick enough on whether or not we're going to get back together, whether or not I'm going to come back east. But I had already put in motion to buy a house. I just wasn't telling him stuff.
Got it.
So he's frustrated. Maybe he's trying to figure out if he's going to be with old girl or not. I don't know. But I asked him, what time is it? Because I'm tired. And when I'm tired, I'm irritable. I'm evil. And I said, what time is it? He said, it's 12 o'clock. As we said, it's 12 o'clock. I said, well, if it's 12 o'clock there, it's 9 o'clock here. I'm going to bed. He said, well, what are we going to do? I don't care what you do. I'm going to bed. I'll talk to you later. Because we would talk every night. So I'm thinking, I'm going to go back to sleep. We'll talk tonight. That's what I'm thinking. So we get off the phone. So we're planning to go to Disneyland because it's Anaheim. So at that time, 45-minute drive or whatever. We're in my car, and my Blue's daughter was dating a guy that was moving around. And he had put a phone, like I called it my bat phone because it was red, and I had a white 190. He put the red phone in my car in the middle. That way, if I got lost on the freeways or didn't know what freeway to take, I could dial out. I couldn't get a call, but I could dial out and say, hey, I'm on 65th, I'm on the east side or wherever. They would tell me where to go. So we're in the car, and we had left Blues, and the clock on my dash said 5:30 evening. And I get this weird feeling. Weird. I mean, like something just came over me, weird. And I said to her, she's sitting in the car, I said, something is wrong. And she looked at me because, like, what? Like, we in the car. Like, what, you know? I said, I don't know. I don't know. I immediately picked up the phone, and I start calling back east. Now, I called a girl first to make sure she got back. She was back. I called looking for him. And everywhere I called looking for him, oh, he just left, but he'll be back. He just left. He'll be back. Okay, so I'm thinking he'll call me. That was Thursday night, the 7th. He never called. So Friday when I wake up, it's my birthday. I realize I haven't talked to him. Something's wrong. Mm-hmm. So I'm calling around, and he never came back to these places. So then I called my mother. And I said, Mom, have you seen Jackie? She said, well, yeah, he was here Wednesday. She said he brought his laundry, but he never came back. Another one, never came back. So I go, okay. I call our lawyer, who was his friend. And I said, Danny, I said, I think something is wrong with Jackie. I said, I haven't talked to him. I said, you know, do you think I should come home? And he said, well, if you feel that strongly about it, where are you? I said, he said, well, by the time you get home, it'll be 48 hours. It has to be 48 hours for an adult to be reported missing. It'll be 48 hours by the time you get back. You can come back, go to the nearest police station where he was last seen. Now, in the meantime, while I'm trying to figure out how we're going to do all this, I called back to my friend's house where her husband had seen him. And they had been looking for, and they tell me, oh, what's the name? Geech's son came here driving his car. I said, driving his car? Who is that? And what's he doing with his car? He said, well, I don't know. He rode with him up Germantown, and he never came back to get the car. Now, I know something's wrong. Jack, first of all, he's not going to be nowhere stranded. He's going to have his car. So I said, okay, I'm going to come back. So by the time we booked everything, we leave Saturday morning. We get back Saturday night. And I go to the nearest police station to where he was last seen. And the police say, okay, follow us. We'll follow us back around there. I had never even been to the block. Person is driving me that was with him. I don't even know where this is. I know it's in Germantown. So we get there, and then I found out later that when we pull up in the block, it's like a little small project block. And when I say project, those project houses that are row houses, right? Little small street. And we could only go so far. And the police tell us to wait. And there's two women walking up the street. And the officer goes over and talks to one woman, and she starts screaming. And I'm like, why is she screaming? What is going on? I don't know. I never found out what they told her, but it was her sister's place where they wanted to get into, where he was last seen.
The Vanessa chick.
It was her sister out there. And I don't know what they told her, because they had told me that we had to wait because they had to get a search warrant. So they said, we're going to have to wait because we got to get a judge. We got to get a search warrant. But I found out later that when they pulled up in the block, they could smell the body. I didn't smell anything. But so they start kicking and banging and kicking on the door, and they get in, and the officer comes back to the car, and he asks the guy was with me, what did he have on? And the guy told him. And then he asked me, did I have a picture? And I said, yes. I kept the picture in my wallet. I gave him the picture. He went back to the house, came back to the car, and he came to my side. And he said, ma'am, he's in the house and he's dead. And I thought something was coming out, but I guess nothing was coming out. I just remember my face, I must have went in shock. My face felt funny. And then they said, oh, we're gonna have to take you to homicide. Well, I need to call my lawyer back. I got to go to homicide. I don't know the procedures, you know what I mean? But Danny said, no, that's the procedure. You got to go to homicide. So when we get to homicide, now they take these two women, which is this girl's sister and some other lady, and they take me and my peoples, 3 of us, and they put us all in these different rooms. And they start off nice, oh, your husband or whatever. And they said, well, what can you tell us about, I said, well, I don't know. I just know he was missing. I said, I last talked to him on Thursday. By this time, it's going into Sunday morning, 10th. And so I said, I was told that he went to that house and, I was in LA. I just flew back because he was missing, whatever. And they were like, all right, well, they pull out this pad and pen and they said, well, we want you to write down all your husband's friends. What? I'm not doing that. His friends didn't kill him. What do you mean his friends didn't kill him? I said, I just told you. He said he gave that guy a Kia Coke. The guy owed him $25,000. I'm trying to tell you, that's probably who killed him. His friends ain't killed him. Mm. Now they switch up on me. We get to arguing in there because now they're going to tell me, oh, well, how do we know you didn't kill him? I said, okay, so let's play this back. I come to Philly. I kill my husband. I go back to LA and then I come here to help you find him and I killed him. He says, well, if you're not going to cooperate with us, we're not going to solve this murder. I said, I don't give a damn whether you solve it or not. It will get solved. And I walked out.
So how did you know that he went to Dennis' house? That was the thing.
A guy was with him.
Got it. The guy
rode with him.
Got it.
Rode with him there. And he was sitting in the car when the Vanessa girl comes out. Jackie went in the house. Mm-hmm. The guy is sitting in the car waiting for Jackie. The Vanessa girl comes out and walks over to the car and asks him, was he with Jackie? And he said, yes. And she said, oh, he said you could leave and come back later. And he left. Yep. That's how I knew where he was.
So they do that. So apparently they set him up.
The girl
set him up.
The girl at the preliminary hearing, the girl says, because that was the only hearing I could go to, she says that Jackie had been calling about his money. And Dennis said, the next time he calls, tell him to come to get the money. I'm going to kill him before he kills me. So she knew. She could have stopped it. She knew what Dennis was going to do.
So she said this at the preliminary hearing.
At the preliminary hearing. It's in the notes of testimony.
Yeah, I read it. They caught her in Florida.
She called her family because she claims that Dennis tried to kill her. She said that Dennis tried to kill her in Hollywood, Florida, because Dennis said that she was the only person that could put that murder on. Yeah, identify him. So she claimed that Dennis tried to kill her. She got away, called her family. Now, this is 1987. They never told me nothing. That's how much they hated me. They never told me nothing. Never said they caught this woman or nothing. And they made it. Her family took her to the DA's office. The guy was Roger King at the time, who was terrible. And she made a deal with him to turn state evidence against Dennis. She didn't do a day.
At all.
At all.
For her participation.
Nothing. Wow. And she set it all up.
So, okay, so when I watched the show also, Thelma, it says that Jackie got killed because he had somebody else killed.
Who said that?
It said that in the show, like he had somebody else killed that was rolled up in carpet, or was
Jackie was rolled up in the carpet.
Jackie was rolled up in carpet.
Jackie was found rolled up in the carpet in that house. They killed Jackie in that house. That girl had 3 kids. Them kids was in that house.
Really? And they left him there?
Allegedly, he called a guy that Dennis was from South Philly too. They said Dennis was from Fifth Street, got a big family, and Dennis called a guy from down Fifth Street. Had this guy come up because they talk about the guy went to a market not too far from that house, and the guy went to the market and got cleaning supplies or something. They're saying, and Dennis tells the guy that he saw the body in there, that he killed Jackie because Jackie tried to Vanessa. Imagine that. Jackie had a bunch of chicks, like somebody.
So where he got hit at was the back of his head. So that means he didn't see it coming.
No.
That's what they said. He didn't see it.
So, okay. So in the notes and on the stand, the preliminary, she says that when Jackie came and Jackie knocked on the door, she opened the door. Dennis was behind the door. When he opened the door, she opened the door, he's behind the door. Soon as Jackie walked in, he hit him right there. There's a spot right there. You almost died instantly. And it was told to me later that Dennis knew all about guns and stuff. I think Dennis might have been ex-military or something. He had a gun fetish and all this kind of stuff. Plus, he wanted to be Jackie. They said he started wearing, because they was wearing jerry curls and stuff back then. He started wearing his hair like Jackie. Jackie used to have this thing of taking little handkerchiefs and tying them around his neck and all. And he drove a gray Volvo. Dude went and got a gray Volvo. He wanted to be him, And so, but she said, Vanessa said that as soon as Jackie walked in, he shot him in the back. It pierced her eardrum. She lost some hearing because I guess that's how close she was to it. Mm-hmm. And Jackie slumped. Her child's bike was there. And Jackie slumped over the bike. And when Jackie slumped over the bike, Dennis patted him down because I asked the guy who was with him, I said, did he have any jewelry? I said, what did he have on? He told me, beige suit, beige silk shirt, and beige lizards. So I said, well, he didn't go there to do nothing to nobody because he wouldn't have went dressed like that. And he said he had a pouch with him. He did carry pouches sometime. He said he had left the pouch in the car, but before he went in the house, he came back and got the pouch. And he looked at his watch and he said, it's 7:00, I'm right on time. So he was scheduled to be there at 7:00. And Jackie liked to be early. He might get someplace like, 6:45. He didn't like being late. I don't like being late. He didn't like being late. So, but he got there. He said, it's 7:00. I'm right on time. And said he sat up against the car, stood up against the car, probably apprehensive, but about his mind was probably telling him, don't go in there. But he did. And she said that's how it went down. She said he slumped over that bike and they laid him down. Pat went through, robbed him because he got a robbery. Dennis got a first-degree murder and robbery.
I read that.
Because he robbed him.
So, real quick, because, I know G wants to ask about how you got into the game after that. But real quick, what was the relationship between Jackie and Dennis? Like, what was their relationship? Did he put Dennis on? Was Dennis somebody close to him?
Wasn't. He
wasn't close to him?
He wasn't when I was around. He was not. Now, Jackie had mentioned Dennis to me before. We were out at the bar at 52nd Street at a party. And I remember Jackie saying something about, he would kind of chuckle like Dennis called himself a pimp or something. Jackie said Dennis was pimp. And I didn't want like that. And so we at this party, and it was a lot of people in the bar at the party. And I remember Jackie saying, oh, Brown, this is Dennis. And I didn't even really look at him because when he told me he was a pimp, what I need to meet him for? So I never really even looked at him. So I didn't know him or anything, but he wasn't like, he never came to our home or nothing.
Got it.
So he wasn't a friend like that. Like his friends came to our home.
Got it.
No, he wasn't like that. But he was somebody that he kept, he had in the street or whatever. And they were cool because Jackie would, even when I was in California, he would tell me that he had been to Dennis's or whatever. But I figured him and his old girl was, they must have been cool because come to find out, a female was calling the police and calling the police. It had to be old girl. I didn't even know he went there. So it wasn't me, but they kept trying to say it was me. They kept trying to give me the murder.
What do you mean give you the murder?
They were trying to say that I killed Jackie.
That's wild.
How could I do that?
Yeah.
I was in California. How did I do that? That's why when we got to arguing, me and the detective, I said, so let's run this back. So I came here, I killed him. I went back to LA I killed him in a house I never even been in before.
Mm-hmm.
Never even been in a house. Come back and help you find him?
So they killed them, left them there, and then she moved out. She ran with her kids.
She ran. Listen.
She left her kids?
She left her kids. They gave the kids to somebody. She went on the road. She went on a run with him. They went to Atlantic City first. I was on their heels. They went to Atlantic City first.
Mm-hmm.
They left Atlantic City. Then they went, he had people down south.
Mm-hmm.
They went down south. Then they went, I guess, to Florida. Maybe that's when he took her through changes or whatever, I guess. Because they said she came back in 87. I don't know what month she came back in 87, but she came back. And he was in Atlanta with his family when the feds, I don't know if they did because he was almost wanted. So I don't know if one of his relatives saw it, but one of his relatives turned him in.
But how long was he there for?
6 years. Well, I don't know if he was in Atlanta like
but he
6,
was on the run for 6 years.
He did not get, he killed Jackie in 86. He didn't get caught, I think, to 92 or 93.
And he got caught in Florida.
He got caught in Atlanta. With a relative. The relative turned him in, they said. They said some kind of way, I don't know if the feds came or if she saw something, but she said, you killed somebody, you can't stay here. That's what I was told.
So this happens. The chick, and you saw the lady before, the Vanessa lady. You saw her face to face.
I never saw Vanessa ever. If she walked in here now, I don't know. I've been trying to see her. I don't know.
So last thing, you told me before we started this that you wanted to visit Dennis.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me why you wanted to visit him?
I wanted to sit down in front of him and I wanted to ask him why. Why did he kill him? When I did the documentary, I don't know if you saw when I did the Gangsters documentary, I said that I forgave Dennis, and I did because I had to. In order for me to go on with my life, I had to forgive him. I understood that he probably was afraid. He probably feared Jackie. Jackie was, he was a force to be reckoned with. But Jackie was also smart. He was very smart. He was very ahead of his time. And he understood, if I kill you, I ain't never getting my money. You can't pay me if you're dead. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, I'm just saying.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But see, I understood this later. Things that Jackie was trying to explain to me when we were together and he was in a game that I knew nothing about, I didn't understand.
Got it.
But I couldn't give him but so much pushback. But I didn't understand. You know what I mean? Even now, like when me and Pam, we talk a lot about back in those times, and it just amazes us, like, how young them guys were back then, but they was carrying a lot of weight, like
True.
Buying homes for yourself, your mother or whoever, these cars, and these guys was 30, 31, 32 years old.
Wow. This, you know what? Hearing it from you, man, like it brings me there, and you speak with so much conviction. You know, I could tell that it was extremely painful back in those days.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell even having the wherewithal to go sit down and speak or want to speak to Dennis, you know, I commend you. You know what I mean? It's hard to forgive. You know
It
what I mean?
is.
And, you know, like it took your husband, it took a father from, took a father from his son. So I know how passionate, and you come from a family that's very close.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and you said earlier that after Jackie died, it was like a domino effect. You know what I mean? So I understand all the emotions that was going through your head. So I have to commend you. I have to commend you and you know, because I did look up, you know, I looked him up, Dennis, and he was trying to put in
An appeal?
a couple of appeals. I think the last
He
one,
kept putting it on the girl.
2008 was the last one or something.
He kept saying that the girl did it.
The girl shot him.
Mm-hmm. That's what he was saying, or trying to say, that the girl did it.
It's crazy.
That's wild, man. So, rest in peace, Jackie, of course.
Yes.
You know, sound like a great guy. You know what I mean? I know that he was dear to your heart. So, you know, I can see the passion in the eyes and everything when you talk about him. Your face
I
is,
see
you
it.
know.
Yeah. She had me in the studio. Gee, I'm like this, man. Like, I feel a little bad. Maybe I teared up a little bit when she was talking about. No, when she was talking about when she talked earlier. I teared up right here.
Why did you tear up?
Because your eyes got watery.
Oh.
And you said I'm human. So
I am human.
I teared up when we were talking about death and stuff like that. You were expressing yourself and talk about your dad and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a
But that's my soft spot.
Yeah,
my dad's
yeah,
my soft
yeah.
spot.
And then when you start, I'm like, I'm like, yo, look. I'm like, oh man, I can't look at nobody and tear up, G, because you got to see the passion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, G, you had a question. My fault, G. I know, we
No.
we spent a lot of time on Jackie. Man, shout out to Jackie.
I
man.
know that's why I said I want to make sure you got everything
yeah,
off.
thank you, G. I'm sorry.
Because this is her story as well too. I know
course, G.
Jackie's story is a part of her story, but
Yes.
I know the people listening probably want to get to now to her side of the story, what she did and how she got involved in the game. We're not glorifying them, of course. That's not what we're not here to do. But I definitely want to hear your side of the story and how you got involved in the game. And I've seen the video and I've seen that you say you learned a lot from Jackie. He taught you a lot. So my question is, I want to know, like, one, when did you start to get yourself invested in it? That's the first part of it. And the second part, like you say, he passed away. So after that, like how much more, I guess, like how deep did you get into the game after he passed? Like, it was,
I got in by default. Like I didn't think about that. I was living in LA. I had a sportswear company that was established, but it was growing even more.
Right.
Jackie was trying to help me with it. He was the type, like, when I started telling him and I was doing them and I was getting them, he loves sweatsuits and stuff. He loved that. But he was the type, like, he's going to meet you. Man, you got to get 340 suits from my wife, like everybody, so he would do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was growing, but I had established Jakeem Enterprises and I had tapped into record companies. I had Motown Records, Arista Records, Atlanta Records. I had the OJs, the Temptations, Vesta Williams, Escape, Climax.
Wow.
Michael Cooper from Confunction, Will, Jazzy Jeff and Will. I did their tour jackets going out.
Yeah,
Levert
seen
stuff.
I was on your page going down. I seen a lot of pictures with you with a lot of these people, man.
Vesta Williams stuff. I mean, like, I started really tapping. So that was where I went. And then people back home was getting stuff. And it was all custom. We were copying Gucci and Fila and Louis and MCM. But the Louis, we weren't as big as Dapper Dan.
Okay.
But we were all sportswear, whereas that was, he was luxury clothes and furs and cars and all. We weren't doing that, but we were doing the sweatsuits and we were doing the tennis outfits for the ladies with the jacket, and everything was custom with your name on it, whatever you wanted. So it was growing, you know what I mean? So I never thought about doing selling drugs.
Right.
It was by default. And so when Jim came to see me, and he came with the bag to pay his debt. He said, we're gonna have to keep going. I didn't know what he was talking about. I said, what you mean? He said, we gotta keep going. You gonna have to live. And he was right, but I wasn't thinking about living like that. So I said, well, let me talk. By this time now, Auntie's involved.
Got you.
And so, I said, well, let me talk, because they knew that I knew. They knew that I knew the people, and they knew that I was out there with the people.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, let me talk to them and see. So I talked to Auntie, and she said, yeah, we could do it now. I'll show you. By September, we moved out on it.
Now, just to clarify, this is after Jackie passed.
Jackie died August, September next month. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but before that, it was
Before that, I did one or two transactions, only because the lady that was my husband's mule, right? Me and her, we became really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so she told me about a mutual friend that we had, her and I had. And he wanted her to see if she could get him something when she was on the West Coast. So I said, well, let me check and see. So my niece's boyfriend was dug in. And so Blue's daughter's boyfriend.
Got it.
And so I went to him, and he said, all right. He said, what you want? I told him. And he said, all right, come up to the house. He lived in Baldwin Hills at the time. And I drove out to Baldwin Hills, and he opened up the hood of my car. He's the same one who put the phone in my car. He lifted up the hood of my car and stuffed the package down in my car. He said, all right, going home. I drove back to the house like nothing. And I did that twice. And I told Jackie I did it. I told Jackie. He said, "You did what?" And I said, he said, "You did, bro." I said, "Yeah." He said, "What you make?" And I told him. He said, "For real?" But see, he didn't want me doing that. Because he always said, if anything happened to me, you go back where you came from, work. He said, "You'll be fine. You got the trust fund, you got insurance, you'll be fine.
Right.
Go to work. Don't ask." He never wanted me to ask his friends for nothing.
So wait, hold on. So what was it? A key was coke? Or,
No, it was coke. It was this guy knew he wanted some coke. It was like an ounce or two. But I made some money off of it. And it came in handy at the time because Jackie couldn't move around at that time, like yet. You know what I mean? So, but I told him what I did. He said, "You did?" I said, "Yeah."
So G was asking, that's fine. A mule for the people. A mule is a person that
carries the drugs.
Carries the drugs. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Transports.
So you the one that put together Jackie's funeral and everything?
Oh yeah.
Did you put together Jackie's funeral? His family came. His funeral was big. Was it a big one or small?
It was the biggest. It was the funeral home. I wanted Jackie's funeral to be somewhat private. My mother and my parents lived across the street from a church, and Jackie always said, if anything happened, put me over there. And I said no. And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't need a bunch of in here howling and screaming. I don't need that. I'm gonna need peace." So when I told my grandmother used to sing, and my grandmother used to sing at funerals and weddings and stuff. And so I told my grandmother that I wanted to do something private. And so she said, and the Hawkins Funeral Home was a family entity. They had a funeral home at 17th and Federal around the corner from my parents, but I didn't want it there. So my grandmother said they have another location on the outskirts of the city.
That's my last name.
That's your last name? Hawkins.
Yeah.
Bruce Hawkins Funeral Home. Yep.
Wow.
Hawkins is big back home.
Yeah, his father told me that.
Hawkins, yeah.
His father did tell me that.
Yeah.
Back in those areas.
So that was the biggest one that Bruce told me he had to call his cousins because they had funeral homes in the other part of the city. So he said he called his cousins to help him because it was so big. But I made sure his mom and them were good. I got cars for them. I sent money to the children because I knew that he would have wanted all the children to be together. Now, his first wife wasn't having it. But okay, but I offered it.
So she didn't come to the funeral?
Didn't come to the funeral, didn't have the kids come or nothing.
Oh, wow.
How many children did he have?
6 total. Count my son. My son's a baby. So she had 2. So the other 3 I had with me. And I made sure they got, money so their parent, could dress them and everything. Because I knew that's what he would have wanted. I did things the way he would have wanted. It wasn't about me. Right. It was about what he would, and I knew what he would have wanted. He would have wanted all his children together.
Unity.
He would have, that's what he wanted. He would have wanted that. And so, I did that. I remember my mom said, "You better woman than me, huh? Mom, it ain't about us. Mom, it ain't about us. It's, let's get through this."
Right.
So how long was it until, because we had a story that one of his guys came to you with the money that he had for Jackie, and that's how you got into the game. How long was it that from when he passed?
When he came with the money? In between me leaving homicide and planning the funeral. He came with the money.
How much he came with?
It was a lot. IRS has no statute of limitations.
Got it.
Always remember that. They have no statute of limitations.
Got you.
They can come for you at any time.
Got you.
So you get to talking numbers.
Respect, that's peace. So he came with money.
Nice amount of money. He owed a nice. They had been together a long time. He's an older gentleman.
And what's the guy name? You guys say his name? Jim.
He's deceased now.
Okay, so Jim came with money. Now Jim was doing that because he was just living off of honor. Like he's just an honorable guy like that.
Well, he'd been in the game a long time, and he was smart enough, I guess, to understand. He probably didn't know what I knew, right? And so, but he was genuine from the heart, though. He was. And so he was smart enough to know, I don't know what she knows. Let me take this because I want to keep going. I'm going to need her to supply me. So when he said we got to keep going, he meant him and me. He knew that I was going to have to continue to take care of my son, and he needed to keep going. And he didn't want to fool with people in the street. He did not. He made that clear. That's why he wanted to just deal with me. He was an older man, and he only worked 6 months on, 6 months off. That's how he stayed safe. They did him like Al Capone. They couldn't get him for drugs, so they got him for taxes. He did 1 year. But he had probably 50, 60-year run.
What was his lifestyle like? Was he a money
Quiet? He gambled, but he. You know what? I admired him because he had a wife, an older wife that he kept. She was a school teacher and stuff. And I had met her and stuff. Really very nice woman. He had all them little ones out there like that there, but that was home.
Did he show?
Nope.
Though?
So people knew who he was, and they knew he gambled.
Any
and they knew
cars?
He had money.
And he had a nice house.
Nice,
a big house?
Not where you could go see it. Like I knew because he lived in Jersey. He had a nice house, and she was there.
Got it.
The way he conducted his business was not like what you might call the average hustling guy.
Got it.
Because he like I said, 6 months. He told me I do 6 months on and 6 months off. You'll hear from me for 6 months, and then you won't hear from me for 6 months. That's how he stayed safe.
Was it the money was good? What was his reason?
His money was good. Yeah, he gambled. He stayed in Atlantic City. He always got me like rooms, comps in Atlantic City and stuff till he couldn't go back there no more. But yeah, he was. I mean, he dressed nice for an older, the hats and all, older, smooth OG. Had a lot of chicks. You know what I mean? But just a smooth guy.
So Jim came to you
to my mother's.
To your mother's. So you was at mom's.
That was home base. Was my mom's.
Yes.
Because I didn't live on the East Coast anymore. I was living in LA. So once I came back, everybody knew where my mom lived. So that was the planning, base for everything.
So Jim did that. He came to you here, and bring me to that conversation because I watched the show and he said that what are you gonna do and stuff like that.
Yeah, well he came.
How you had to connect? You didn't have to. How would you?
No. No. The Connect and I were very close because she was an older Asian woman and she lived in L.A.
Yeah, auntie. But when did you? But you didn't.
I met auntie a few months before Jackie died.
Okay, through Jackie
because Jackie had come to visit. No,
Got it.
So what happened was,
thank you.
When Jackie was when he stopped getting hot, when the war was over and all that, and he wanted me to come back, and I said no. He was in Philly cutting up. He was cutting up, getting high, cutting up, and so somebody called me and told me I said okay, I'll come back. So I went back to get him. See, even though we were not together, he was still my husband. He was my son's father. I never wanted nothing to happen to him.
Right, of course.
I felt he was my responsibility. He's my husband to take care of him and make sure he's okay. So when they told me he was cutting up, I came back to get him, and I met with him in a park in West Philly near his mom's house. And I said, okay, I want you to come to LA. And he was like, all right. He was just acting wild and out crazy. And I said, but you're not going to be with me. I'm going to bring you to LA, but you're not going to be with me. You can go be with Auntie. Auntie had one of those houses that they have and she lived in Sherman Oaks at the time. And they have the house and then they have the back house, like the maid's quarters in a sense. And she had that. And so I called her and I said, Auntie, I'm going to put him on a plane. And at that time, that's when you could still walk up to the gates and do all that. You could walk in the airport, walk to the gate. And so I said, I'm going to put him on a plane. I said, I'm going to call you back and tell you what plane he's on. And I need you to pick him up and take him home. She said, okay, I got him. So that's what I did. So she took him home and he detoxed with her and got himself together, he said, and then he got his rhythm back.
But I'm sorry, how did he meet Auntie?
He met Auntie through another person in LA. So he was doing business with these people, right? He was doing business with these people, but they had run dry. And they knew somebody who knew Auntie and knew she had just come home from the feds.
Wow.
And
an Asian woman that had
she had been down in the game.
She was getting it from Asia, like an Asian connect?
I believe so, because one time she went to Hong Kong and she brought me back a few things, but she had ordered my parents a clock, a grandfather clock. And she said the drugs was in the grandfather. She said, Thelma. And I said, yes. And she was old enough to be my mother. If she was alive today, she'd be 91 years old. Wow. And so she said, Thelma. And I said, yes. She said, did the clock come to mom and dad? Because she would come and stay with us. And my grandmother had her playing numbers and stuff. And so I said, no, Auntie, you bought a clock. She said, I bought Mom and Dad a clock. It didn't come. And I go, no, it never came. I said, so later on when we were together, she told me, she said, all of our stuff was in there, but I'll get more. Yeah, they're China White. Yeah. So I knew her. Jackie had asked her to look out for us, and she took that literally. You know what I mean? Jackie said, could you please? That's when he introduced me to her. He said, could you please look out for her and my son while they're out here? And we got very close.
Okay, so you got close. You got close with Auntie. So then fast forward, Jim come to you. Blah blah blah.
Auntie was in. Okay, so let me tell you about that. So when Jackie went to see Dennis that day,
yes,
Jackie had been collecting because Auntie was in town. I didn't know Auntie was in town because I was in L.A.
Got it.
I'm calling for Jackie. Jackie meets Auntie that Thursday, puts her in a hotel. He's collecting.
To give her money.
To give her money and get his package.
Got it.
She brought the package. She's taking money back. She would always take money back. She calls me on Friday. I said, yes. She said, Jack brought me to the hotel, but he never came back. Everybody's looking for him. She's looking for him. I'm looking for him. The people where they said he had been Thursday, he never came back. They're looking for, everybody's like, where's Jackie? Now, I knew he would never have her come to Philly, put her in a hotel, and not come back. I knew. I just knew. All I kept asking God, I said, God, I know something has happened. Can I just find him? Please let me find. Because I felt like if I didn't find him, the rest of my life I would be always looking for him.
Yeah.
So I asked God, just could you please let me find him? But when she called, she said, yeah. She said, I said, when did you get? She said, yesterday. He picked me up and he brought me to the hotel, but he never came back. He would have never did that, ever. He would have never did that. So she was there. So then in the planning stages of everything, she goes back. So when Jim comes and we talk and everything, she comes back for the funeral. That's when I talked to her, and she said, "Yeah, it's all right. We can do it. I'll show you." I said, "Okay."
So yep. Auntie showed you the game.
Yep, Auntie showed me the game. So now,
an Asian woman.
D. Let me tell you about D. Jackie was still alive. I had gone. Me and the guy that I was seeing in L.A.
The dark-skinned dude.
The dark-skinned dude had taken me to a fight in Vegas.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, 86. So but I
86,
know,
that's a good year.
See, I already know this my last ride with you. I
don't
said
point at me,
right? To him.
Yeah.
So we in the hotel room and he liked to do the little thing or whatever, but he would turn into like a monster, not a person to beat on you or not like that, but just his whole appearance would change. Demeanor would change.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
So I said, all right, I'm going to go out. I'll be back. I got in my mind, like, I'm done with this. This is it, right? So I walk in Caesars. And in Caesars, they got that barge. It's like a barge that you can walk over to go to another section and see. I think they still have it, even though they renovated.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk in, and this guy is standing there. Oh my God, this guy was so handsome. So, yeah, this guy was, and he's like standing there and he's like leaning, but he was like, but he kind of looked like a guy that I knew back home. And I asked him, I said, is your name Tony? And he said, no. I said, oh, I'm sorry. And he said, no, wait a minute.
Come here, girl.
Come here. We started talking and he told me he's from Oakland. And, he said, well, who you at with? I said, well, I'm with some people, but it's all right. So we talked, exchanged numbers. And he said, look, we drove. He said, I really don't like LA. He said, but I'm going to call you tomorrow. Maybe I'll come through. Well, maybe we'll, come through. He said, I really don't like LA. So he said, all right, you be careful. So he called me and we would talk. Now we were just friends. We would talk. And I told Jackie that I met him and stuff. He said, oh yeah. And I said, what's weird, Jack? I said, he keeps telling me not to tell people that I'm from Philly because he said the people here in LA, like they rob you, they do, they'll set you up or whatever. Be very careful.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, well, you said he's from up north. He probably know, what be going on or whatever. So I said, yeah. So we were just friends. We would talk all the time.
You and this is
Me
D.
and D. He had a janitorial business. I don't know nothing about no drugs. He had a janitorial business. But he was so light skinned. He's light. He had thick mustache, dark, wavy, just handsome. And so we would talk.
You was on D.
We would talk
You was
all
on
the
D
time.
body like that?
We would talk all the time, but we would talk. We had so much in common. We would just talking. No, like no, like he knew I had a husband. He knew we were separated. Whatever. Some kind of way we lost touch after Jackie died, and I came back east. I had bought the house and all, but I don't know if he went through Blue or my girlfriend Rosalind. Some kind of way he got my number and he called, and then he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm back." I said, "My husband." He said, "Oh man, I'm sorry." We talked. So he said, "I'd really like to see." I said, "Well, I'm coming back out west." So I go out west. He invites us, me and Blue, to come to Richmond. It's Richmond, Oakland, that area.
Mm.
He had invited me, and I said, "Well, I'm not coming up there by myself. I'm going to bring my girlfriend with me." So we take the kids. We're going to really make sure everything good. So we take the kids. He puts us in the Hyatt in San Francisco, actually. And we go there. And then, we start talking. We spent the whole weekend together, like talking, spending time eating or whatever. And then we start seeing each other. So he started coming back east. And he liked being back east. And then we talk about, come to find out, he had the whole line for the coke. And I had the line for the dope. So we bring it together.
Jackie was still alive?
Jackie's gone.
Oh, Jackie's
gone. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because we didn't start talking again until Jackie had died and I was back east.
Yeah, you said that. So, but Auntie was still. So Auntie didn't dibble in the coke.
Mm-mm.
She had.
They had the heroin.
Heroin.
Mm-hmm.
Was it and those because what year did heroin started to slow down and then coke came in, or heroin never slowed down?
Heroin can be up and like you can have a time where you good and then you'll have a time where ain't nothing around right now. You got to wait.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that coke started getting really big because of the crack thing.
Crack, yeah. And
and Jackie started dipping and dabbing with that coke, getting high, zooming all over the place.
Yeah.
Because when Boney Bill got killed in December of '85, he came at, I was at the house before we got the bronchitis, and I started sleeping with my gun because I don't know. Like we had moved to that house. We'd only been in that house a few months, but I still don't know. I got to protect my son. And my son's bedroom faced the street window. The window faced out to the street. So I would put my son to bed and sit in that room till I doze off. And then, when I get tired enough, then I go in my room and close the door, put the gun under my pillow. And then one night he came in looking like Scarface, nose all white and all, talking crazy. You're going to kill everybody in the funeral and all. I'm like, Lord have mercy. So I left him with the baby. I left him there with the baby. And I went to my girlfriend's house and I was telling her, I said, I don't know if I can do this funeral. Because we had planned to go I used to take my son to the Christmas Spectacular, Radio City Music Hall. So we had planned to go there. But he was talking about this funeral and I had to go to his funeral and I had to wear glasses and all. No, it was just a mess. I went back home. I said, I ain't going to that funeral. I'm not going.
And you didn't go?
And I didn't go.
But nothing happened at the funeral?
Nothing happened. I heard they talked or something. It was like a bunch of brothers and they talked. But I wasn't there.
So you're messing. So now you're in it. You messing with D.
Mm-hmm.
He got the coke. You got the heroin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, become like things start to pick up for you.
Mm-hmm. Quick.
But so you had both because So things.
So when I needed the coke, I called D, or D have his people. He had somebody that could bring it.
Got you.
And
so y'all used to ship it though. They didn't drive down on some old.
No, they was still bringing on the planes at that time.
Oh.
He had a couple chicks they was packing up, bringing stuff. And then when it got, when I talked to Auntie and Auntie, I started telling Auntie that I was working with that too. She was like, oh, all right. And so she came up with that shipping stuff. That was her.
What do you mean?
She came up with the idea of how we could ship it because it was becoming too much for somebody to carry.
Got
It
it.
was getting too risky.
Got it.
Even though we had never had a problem, but
And your brother worked in the post office.
yeah, but I didn't fool with him.
You didn't mess with your brother.
I don't know. I didn't involve my family at
Smart.
all.
Smart.
No.
Gotcha.
No, I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing. I'm gonna put my family in.
Respect. That's peace.
The most I did was have my mother send me some money one time, and she didn't even question it.
Got it. Got it. Is that the 80,000?
82,000.
Yeah.
And the box,
82,000,
then the
yeah.
box popped a little bit on the side.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
So, okay. So you're messing with D, and then I watched what D said. D was like, he started getting
People was
close.
mad with D. Mhm.
Yeah, man. D, why you did that,
Why
man?
you
He's
do
still
that?
alive? He's still alive?
Yeah, we was just at his house we was at his house last year. We went to Napa to the
Yo, Big D, what's up, man?
Hey.
My
he's
man.
so sick. You should he tells everybody, man, I messed up so bad. He'll tell Keith, did he yeah. He told her. He tell everybody. He tell anybody. He'll tell you. Man, I messed up.
Because he said that on the show. That was crazy. D was wild. He was wilding. He thought that. I read that.
He said, I just slowly start backing away.
Because little man told me he wanted a daddy and stuff. I said, D.
He was getting high. See, he was getting high. I didn't know because Blue told him. Blue said, when they went to film that,
Okay.
Blue said, if she would have known that you was getting high when you was with her, you wouldn't have been with her. Because I had made a conscious decision that drugs is what destroyed my husband's life, my marriage, all of that. And I didn't want no parts of that. Now selling it is different. Making money, I'm stacking, trying to make sure I'm good, But as far as the usage of drugs,
So even though you and D stopped messing around, I still was the connect. So he was still out in L.A.
he was in LA, but I didn't stay with him long on that. After here we go. See? Here you go.
That's crazy.
Wow.
You should have picked up and told him we was talking about him.
I'll call him back later.
That was crazy.
Yeah, but no, I shouldn't have got that angry, but I did. But no, I didn't even care about that part. I'm gonna stick with this with Auntie, and we good.
Okay.
Because I started expanding a little more, so I was.
You started
good.
expanding to where? Like Jersey?
Well, I had Cleveland. I had
Oh.
somebody. I had somebody in Cleveland. I had somebody in Florida. I had home. Detroit. Had a guy. Yeah.
Shout out to Detroit,
So
the
that was
Buffs.
enough because I wasn't that girl. Like I didn't want people to really. If you wasn't down with me.
Mhm.
And you didn't know, I wasn't trying to go out here venturing. I wasn't trying to be Jackie. I wasn't trying to do that.
But so you get to work, and how many people you had working for you though? at the
I didn't
time?
have people work for me. You bought from me.
Got it. So you get it wholesale, and then you got it. Because they said you was making like $400,000 a month.
They say whatever they want to say. I didn't count that.
That's
They added that up because I told them about what keys were going for and coke and what I was doing to heroin for. Whatever. They did the math. I didn't do that math. I will never do math.
because
The IRS has no statute of limitations. I don't know what the numbers were.
that's respect. All right.
Yeah.
Yo, you ill. I ain't gonna lie. You killing me.
Yeah. No.
So all right. So that happened. You don't mess with D. And I asked you earlier, real quick, about Harrison Graham. They call him the corpse collector.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you was like, Flip, I didn't know nothing about Harrison Graham. He was from North Philly or something like that.
He was the guy who was killing women.
Yeah.
But I think he was doing it in North Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they tell the story is like they tell it like I just missed him or something, or like he just missed me. Or, none of that. None of that.
Yeah, like
none of that.
Like you avoided.
No, none of that.
Yeah,
like I could have been his next victim or something like that.
Mm.
I mean, anything's possible,
True.
but that guy was in North Philly, I believe. And I wasn't even living back home at that time. I was out west.
True. After D, you dated Jay.
Yeah.
Why you smile at Jay?
I did Jay. Go ahead.
Oh, you thought I didn't know about Jay. You thought I didn't know. You dated Jay.
No, everybody know about Jay.
You dated Jay back in Philly.
Yeah, I met him So when D and I were in Vegas, we went at the fight. We were at one of the fights. So we met at that 86 fight, and then we went to the next fight, which was I think Hagler and
Hearns.
Mm-hmm. We went there. Sure did. Yes, we did. So it was a group of us. So it was me and D and another couple, 2 couples, and my girlfriends. I took all my girlfriends. So we all went. So it was a lot of Philly people there, right? And it was a show. It was Phyllis, the Whispers and James Brown. It was a show. And we at the show, and it was these group of guys, and they were like all over the place. But it was this one particular guy that kept looking at me. And D's the guy smiled at me and I smiled back. So D said, yo, what's up with that? And I go, I don't even know that guy. Like, I didn't know the guy. He just smiled and I smiled. We out and you see me, you say hi and I say hi and you smile. Like, so he realized that I did not know the guy. He said it. He said, oh, I can see you don't. I said, no, I didn't know him. That turned out later to be Jay, because I ended up meeting him at a Sixers game.
What is your deal with me while you were over?
I don't know.
What type of game is that?
That's not a game. I don't do it.
You fly. So
I don't do it though.
So the gangsters is just gangstering and they don't care who you with. They gonna do whatever they want.
Well, I guess those particular gangsters. I guess, but I didn't do it. And D, if I called him right now and we talk about that, he'd say, "Man, she didn't know that guy. Man, I could tell she didn't know him. I didn't."
So then you saw Jay back in Philly.
Right. So I'm at a Sixers game, and they used to have you'd have the Sixers game, and then underneath was a place called Ovations, the restaurant where everybody would go. Mm-hmm. So I'm in there with one of my girlfriends one night, and this guy comes over and starts talking, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I remember you from Vegas." Yeah,
was he younger than you?
He's a couple years younger than me.
Mm-hmm. And so he was part of a crew called JBM.
He was the alleged leader of JBM.
Yeah. Now, because you said it was just blowing money, but was it just blowing money or Junior Black Mafia?
I don't know, because some guys say just blowing money and some guys say Junior Black Mafia.
Was he connected to anybody from the original Black Mafia?
No, they're not. Those guys are not. And they say that too. They say they're related and brothers or uncles and no.
How you know?
Because I've asked. Were y'all related? No. And just like they have certain people that they say started that organization that wasn't even in the organization. See, people, you have these informants and different people that call themselves giving up tapes, but they don't tell the truth. Like they said, my husband was in Texas with his wife and children. Who was in Texas with what wife and children? We never went to Texas.
Well, he had a wife before you.
But he wasn't even with me. I'm talking about when people allegedly were supposed to have been looking for my husband to kill him.
Got it.
They said he was in Texas with his wife and his children.
Got you. Sorry.
Right? This is what it's in print. It's in print that says that. And I go, what wife and what children in Texas? We have one child. We were never in Texas. People had him living at my parents on Wharton Street. You'll see Wharton Street comes up in connection with him. That's where my parents lived. He never lived there. So these are stories that people, you know what I mean, put out. And this is part of the reason why I decided to write my book. Because I wanted to put the real story out. It wasn't about writing a book for fame and fortune. I didn't know that book was going to do anything because it's a self-published book.
You are dropping something nice.
It's
peace. That's peace.
Nice, but thanks.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I mean,
don't try to be modest. I saw it.
Yeah, and you know how old it is?
Doesn't matter. It looks clean. It looks clean.
It is clean. I take care of it. But I'm saying and that's not the first one.
G, chill. G.
No, I'm just saying.
Calm down. I know.
I'm just saying.
Don't be hype, G. Stop.
But what I'm saying, all I'm trying to say is, I just continued to live the way I was living. You heard me say I had a white 190. 190s came out in 85.
How much cars you had?
Shoot. I had 5 of them.
5 of those outside?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I had a convertible Saab. I had a 535 BMW. So that's 7. I had a Saab. That's 8.
Everybody,
my Mazda 9.
Everybody loved Saabs back in the days. G.
Convertible Saab. I love that car.
Everybody loved Saabs.
Oh, I love that car.
A drug dealer's dream.
Really?
That's fact. Did you know any drug dealers up here in New York?
Ronnie Bump.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Big of the big.
Yeah.
Big of the big.
Real quick, I want to ask you because Ronnie, I just asked Nitty, a guy named Nitty, and I said that my cousin name is Webb, so I asked Nitty. I said, I want to meet Ronnie Bump. I want to know the history of Queens. But everybody, when they speak about Bump, they put so much respect on his name, the way he moved, how he was. You've been around him. Was he
Smooth.
Was he what they say he was?
Smooth.
Is he moved smooth? He just, oh yeah, I can see it. Oh, snap.
That's my guy, man. That was Pam's. That was my girlfriend's guy. But yeah, you want to meet him?
I do.
Okay, well, okay.
It's really important to me to meet. I just want to. It's not about, because that's what Nitty asked me. Say, well, Flip, is up to him. I don't want to do an interview. I just want to know the history so I can know where to look at certain things. I want to respect his legacy. I just want to sit down with him. I really want to meet Bump. I really want to meet him.
I understand. He's very well. I saw it. I'm telling you, it was Large died in 79, so it was 78 when we came up here to that party. I don't know where we were, but I know we were in Queens. He probably can tell you where the party was. I don't know where it was, but we were up here. But just watching him then and the way people respected him then, and then he can come back there like he lived back there.
A lot of people respect him.
Yeah.
A lot of people respect him. Yeah.
And I heard in them spots, in them feds and stuff, they respected him.
Yeah.
He got I know brothers that was down with him, and they didn't know I knew him. And I mentioned, and they were like, "Oh, I said, man, that brother got a lot of respect. He's a good brother."
Got you. Yeah, we'll talk. So sorry, because I ain't gonna lie. Well, we had 3.
Oh yeah, we had 3. Oh yeah. Y'all have us up on. Can you sleep? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not done. No,
she sleep.
I'm not done.
Oh,
Don't try to scare. I love this story. So you get into it. You get in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at what point are you kidnapped? You said you were kidnapped.
Mm-hmm. The guy Dave that introduced me to Jackie, he kidnapped me.
Oh,
so dig this. So
you said dig this.
Yeah. It's pretty deep. So I'm standing outside of the schoolyard watching the summer game, waiting for Malik to come. And Dave pulls up with another guy in the car, and he comes. He says, "Hey," I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He says, "What you doing?" I said, "Oh, nothing, just waiting." He knew him. And he said, "Why don't you take a ride with me to D.C.?" And I have this habit of, and my son has picked it up too. You say silly things to me, I kind of chuckle before I answer you. So I kind of chuckle. I'm not riding to D.C. with you. Man, that guy slapped me so hard. And little did I know, somebody in the schoolyard saw him. When he slapped me, he took my arm and twisted it behind my back and threw me in a car. And at the time, he had one of those, I think it was the Thunderbird, that had that little small window in the back instead of a regular little one. And he rode me right past my house. And when he rode past my house, I this must be my last ride.
Wow.
And at the time, our Delaware Avenue, they have been trying for years in Philly to make it like the Baltimore Harbor. But at that time, it was undeveloped. So it was like just dirt and hills and, and the water's there. And he took me down there and he started talking crazy, whatever they were talking about. Large, who was Jackie's partner at the time, he said that Large wanted to kill the guy and all, just talking crazy. He said that if I told anybody what happened, that when I came out to get my car, it was really my father's car, and I would drive it sometime. He said, when I go get in the car may blow up. Now, I know that they're capable of all these things. And I'm, crying and pleading, just please, can you take me back? Because I was supposed to meet my father. If I don't meet my father, I know he's going to be worried and all. And I guess he had a, softness in his heart. and he brought me back a block away from my house and told me not to tell anybody. So I wasn't going to tell anybody. But one of my friends at the time, she worked, she would work at night, and she would call me on her break. And when she called me on her break, I told her what happened because she knew Dave too. We only knew him from hanging out, and we thought that he liked one of our other friends. So when he asked me to go to DC with him, I was like, that's why I kind of like, go to DC with, like, where is this coming from? Like, you know what I mean? Because we thought he liked the other girl. And so, yeah. So when I go home, I've run upstairs to my room, but she calls and I was telling, she said, you got to tell, like, you can't like not tell anybody about it. So I go downstairs and I told my father, and then Malik came and I told him, and then we went around to 18th and Dickinson where they used to hang out at. And I told Large what happened. And Large was really upset. I never knew what happened with Dave. I saw Dave again in 20. When was COVID? 2020, right? 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So 2021, I think. I saw him.
What did he say to you?
Nothing. He was sitting at I went in a Friday's restaurant with some people taking me to lunch. They knew I had been sick. And they came to take me to lunch. And he was sitting at the bar. And I happened to look at the bar and I go, oh my God. And the guy who was with me, he's the ex-DEA agent that speaks on the Trap Queens doc. It was him and his girl came and take me out to eat. And he saw my face and he said, what's the matter? And I said, that's the guy that kidnapped me. He said, where? And he grabbed his, because they carry all the time. And he said, where? I said, at the bar. And he said, you all right? I said, yeah, I'm okay. And he was sitting at the bar. He didn't see me.
But what was his reasoning for kidnapping you?
He didn't like the rejection.
He just wanted you to ride with him, and you said no.
And I said no, and I laughed, and I think he was high, and I guess the rejection.
Yeah, that's retarded.
Then I find out years later. When I decided I'm gonna do the book. This was 2008. Wait a minute. Yes, 2008. I was talking to my father, and I was taking my father to get LASIK surgery. And we started talking about that situation, and he told me that somebody had come to the house and told him that somebody had just slapped me and threw me in a car. And he went to the local police station where the captain happened to be his cousin, my father's cousin, and he told him that somebody told him somebody threw me in a car. And he said, well, did she call or anything? Has anybody contacted you? He said, no. He said, well, let's give it a few more hours and see if she comes back or if anybody contacts you about her. I didn't find out my father did that till 2008. I didn't know that he did that. I didn't know he knew. I didn't know that he knew. I didn't know he knew prior to me telling him what had happened.
Right.
So David's still around.
Do you forgive him?
Yeah, I forgive everybody.
That's your bag, to forgive everybody.
You have to, or you harbor, and then these things eat at you. You know?
What happened at the explain what happened at the party.
Which party?
Something outside of a party where
The shootout?
The shootout, and then you
I
turned
wasn't
around
a party.
and you had a barrel, a shotgun barrel pointed at you. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah. So I started producing comedy shows. Okay, so Robin Harris and I became really close friends. His wife, matter of fact, lives in Brooklyn now. And Robin had come. I had had a couple birthday parties. I had one party in L.A. in 88. No, I'm sorry, 87. He did that party. That's when I met him. And it was him, Martin Lawrence, Tommy Davison.
I seen the old
Yeah,
pictures
they
on the Instagram page.
Mm-hmm. And then so I said, well, I had a party in LA in 87. Let me do a party in Philly in 88. So in 88, I did the party. I called Robin, asked would he come. He said, yeah. He said, as a matter of fact, we're in New York. Can you send for me a car? I said, sure. So they were filming Do the Right Thing.
Oh, wow.
And I sent the car for them, and him and Martin came. And so he said, you know what? We should do a show. So I'm like, all right, bet. So the next year, I brought him back again. It wasn't a party, but I brought him back. I had like a standing room only group in there. And I said, you know what? This looks like it'll work. So I started doing comedy shows. You see, Michael Blackson talks on my Trap Queens episode. So I started doing these comedy shows, but Morgan's, where I had the party and had Robin all, it was too small. So I said, I got to find another venue. So I had gone to this place called Studio West. Studio West, when I did it, was a shoot 'em up, bang, bang spot, and people wouldn't come. So I said, okay, got to find another spot. So I go to University of Penn, had a club called Penn Towers on their campus. And I go there and I start doing the shows, and Naeem becomes my partner doing the comedy shows. So we would have comedy and open mic and then party on Wednesdays. And it was summer, everybody was coming because the guys was in there, all the guys was in there. So the chicks was coming. So this one night, there was going to be a Peace in the Streets event coming up. This is in July, and they were going to have a Peace in the Street, and I was selling tickets. And one of the fellas from uptown, Germantown, needed more tickets. So I said, well, the only way we can get these tickets, we got to go to Studio West. Nobody wanted to go to Studio West. Now, it's me and like 6 guys. And everybody was like, nah, we don't really want to go up there, man. It's crazy up there. Like, we nobody want to go up there. And so the different guys was like, man, I ain't got my hammer with me. I can't go. Can't go. But then we got no hammers enough. So I'm like, well, that's the only way we're going to get the tickets. Yo-Yo would have been performing that night. So we go up there. Little did we know that a guy affiliated with them had an argument with somebody prior to us getting there. Now, when we pull up, we 3 cars deep. My convertible Saab, 2 other cars. But it's only me and Nye in my car. It looks like this is reinforcements coming. So we park in the parking lot, but it was an eerie kind of a thing. So when we're walking from the parking lot, it's a lot of people standing around. But I see these guys. Now, this is July. It's about 85 degrees at night. And these guys are sitting around with jackets on and all, or sitting like this, whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's weird. So now I said, I don't know why people always call me Miss Brown or Brown, for my maiden name, really. But so he said, Brown, wait here. I said, no, don't go. It was just not good, right? And so this guy who had been in an argument with the other guy was standing, this guy John was standing on the side. So now I went to go talk to John because John had been in the argument with the guy. And Na's trying to calm things down. He don't have no weapon. Nobody has no weapons enough. So just as Na goes over to talk to the guy, the other guy who's affiliated with them, he starts walking backwards and he got a gun. And he raises the gun towards them and he says to the guy, John, well, if you don't like it, we could take this to the yard. And I see him raise the gun, but they said when he went to fire the gun initially, it jammed. I don't remember that part. But the guy, my friend who ends up grabbing me, he said when the gunplay first started, he watched my feet go towards the gunfire. He says, so that's when he grabs me and he throws me down and he hovers over me and he says, don't move. I got you. We're behind a trash dumpster, and it just seemed like the gunplay was forever. Automatic weapons, like forever. No sirens, no nothing. When the gunplay stops, he raises up and he looks out, and Na's laying on his back, bleeding profusely. And he says, man, don't come over here. Don't come over here. We got a girl. My instincts tell me to run. So I kind of push up off of him and turn. But when I turn, there's the shotgun right there. And I take my purse and I put it up and I close my eyes and please don't kill me. Just don't kill me. Please don't kill me. When I open my eyes, he's walking back over top of Naeem. He makes sure Naeem don't move. And then he goes in the club and you hear boom. And they shot Jim again. Jim died too. He died a couple days later. But Naeem died that night and Jim died a couple days later.
Jim and Big Jim is 2 different people?
2 different people. Jim was a young brother that was with us. I was with all guys that night because we had just left the comedy club. So that was July 11th. I can't come out. I won't come out. I won't do nothing. I'm just a wreck. So it's about 2 weeks later, and I finally just say, okay, I gotta come out. I come out, and I got my son in the car with his little friend, and my pager's going off crazy. 911, 911. Stop at the payphone, call the number. Down. Yeah. Did you hear about Fats? I said, no, what about Fats? Because I'm saying now I can't take too much more now. I don't, What happened to Fats? He said, Fats got busted. What? The package, things were slowing up. It was sporadic. And I guess.
What makes things slow up though?
They just be out of the product, I guess.
You're talking about the Connect.
The Connect. Mm-hmm.
So you have money though.
Oh, we have money. You better hold it. You hold it because by now I'm going into my 5th year. I mean, it's been up and down, so you kind of know. You know what I mean? It could be up and down. There's times when people just don't have nothing. So, he knew better than to call. He kept calling while he's on his package, and when I guess they had gotten it. They intercepted
made him call?
it.
Did you ever ask this guy why he called?
Well, I know why he called. He didn't okay, your package the delivery's supposed to come Monday. Mm-hmm. But you already know you're getting drugs in the mail. You don't call. That was the golden rule. It was only one rule. Don't call. Call me. Mm-hmm. So if you're supposed to get your package Monday and by Tuesday or Wednesday it didn't come, call me. I'll replace it. Mm-hmm. We never had that happen. But I would, that was the rule. So he's calling and calling. Evidently, they had intercepted it already, repackaged it, and now the DEA delivers it
to his house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because he called. He
kept calling.
So then, what happens next? Because I don't.
DEA delivers it. They get locked up. They get a case. He don't get me out.
He didn't tell on you.
Mm-hmm. If he did, I would have had a problem. But I would have fared better than him only because I'd never been in trouble before. It would have been me against him. I'd already talked to my lawyer, and my lawyer said, has he been in trouble before? I said, yeah. He said, well, you haven't. Did you do anything? I said, no, I didn't do nothing. I don't do drugs. I don't mess with drugs. He said, all right, well, they can make it a little inconvenient for you, but you'll be all right. So I had already checked that out. Because I wanted to know worst case scenario, if he gives me up, then what? But he sent a message for me, don't worry. He was my husband's person before me.
So, were you still messing with Jay at the time? Was Jay a quick thing or?
Jay was.
Stop smiling when you're talking.
Jay was Jay was not a quick thing, but Jay was like, it was like this. So I was living on the West Coast. Jay was on the East Coast. Jay was making a lot of noise, and when I would come to town, we'd get together, and I kept trying to get him to come to LA. Mm. See, people don't know. California, you could be in California, I could be in California, we never see each other. It's so big. We could all be in LA and never see each other. And so I kept trying to get him, not to live, but just come take a break because he got a lot of heat. Mm-hmm. And then they had a war start. And when their war started, we drifted apart because it was a lot going on. So, no, I wasn't seeing Jay anymore. Stopped seeing Jay in 89.
So, after Fat got caught, how long until you stopped?
I stopped immediately. So, see, Naeem gets killed July 11th. Mm-hmm. Fats gets busted toward the end of the month. Auntie gets killed in August. That's the end of it. That's it. Over.
They killed Auntie.
Killed Auntie.
You didn't know they killed Auntie. Somebody told you.
Yeah, I didn't know that she died when she died. So what happened when Fats gets busted and I call Auntie and I say, we got a problem. The package was intercepted. She said, okay, don't worry. See, because it didn't come from me. So she said, okay, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. came from West Coast. I don't know where in the West Coast, but it came from the West Coast. So she said, I'll take care of it. She knew that the postal inspectors was going to come. So when the postal inspectors come to see her, she talks to them and everything. And we talk, and she says, okay, let's just talk like every 2 weeks from a payphone. So she talked to me and told me they came. She knew they were coming back. So I hadn't heard from her, and I called. And that's when her niece or daughter told me. She said, you didn't know? I said, no, what? She said, she's dead. I said, she's dead? She's dead. And they explained to me that she had, so she had this house, as I told you, with a house in the back. There's a man that lived in the back. She took a ride with him somewhere on the east side. And wherever they went on the east side, they killed them two and somebody else.
Why?
Probably robbery. D is incarcerated at the time. He calls. And I told him, he said, what? And he said, let me call you back. He was in Lompoc, which is, and he calls me back and he said, that wasn't for her. He said, it wasn't for her. Wrong place, wrong time. She took a ride with him. Maybe it was for him. Maybe it was for the other person. I don't know. But they killed the three of them execution style. So the daughter didn't find, they went, okay, they knew that they had taken a ride somewhere. It was like a Jackie thing. They knew that they had gone. They went there. People said they weren't there, whatever. They wait a little while, maybe a few days, whatever. They go back. And then that's when they find them at the house. And by the time I realized, I haven't talked to her, and I called because we 2 weeks, had to wait 2 weeks. And so by the time I call her, they had cremated, they had taken our ashes and put them in the Pacific Ocean and all by the time I found everything. So that was it.
So then you stopped.
That's it.
You had money left over?
A little. I had assets. I got a job making like, I started doing temp work. I told my father, because my father, Philadelphia Electric used to use this temp agency, and he told me to call them and tell them that I was his daughter, and they put me on assignments and stuff, and then I landed a job making like 19 and change. I had my son in private school, but I had money for that for a while. And then around 4th or 5th grade, I found out that I could get financial aid for the school. So I was able to keep him in school, that's all I wanted to do, was keep him in that school and get him through college. So I did.
Did you ever run out of money?
Yeah. Yeah, I ran out, but it was all right. See, I didn't come from money, so, you know what I mean? I didn't come from money. I came from working people. So I went back to what I knew.
Like what Jackie wanted
What Jackie told me to do.
Wow.
Yep.
What a story.
So, I know he has probably turned over 1 million times because I know he would have never wanted me doing what I was doing.
You talked about, real quick, before we wrap it up, you talked about your mom passing away and your dad.
Yeah.
Like, who passed away first?
My dad. My dad died. My father was diagnosed with lung cancer in March of 1980. He was a general supervisor for PICO, and they required their supervisors to get physicals. So he gets a physical. They see this little spot on the outer part of his lung. His doctor at the time was his doctor he had gone to school with, and Dr. Lomax. And I remember my mom getting the call. They did the biopsy, and they said it was cancer. Well, back at that time, it was like a death sentence. But he never had chemo, never had radiation, nothing. They took a portion of his lung. He stopped smoking, and that was it. And for 32 years, he was fine. 32 years, he was fine. And then in January, Martin Luther King's birthday, 2012.
2012, yeah.
We were being honored together. He was being honored as a mentor, legend in the community, and I was being honored as a mentor. And I was just so thrilled to be able to share a stage with my father, because my father was my world. And he got in the car and he had trouble breathing. I said, Dad, why are you breathing like that? He said, I got this cold and I can't seem to shake it. So I called my sister and I said, Dad needs to go to the doctor. Get Dad to the doctor because he's not breathing right. He was like wheezing, like an asthma person. And so they said his lung cancer had come back and he needed to do chemo. And he took that chemo like a champ. He was fine. He was good, but it wasn't attacking the mass the way it needed to. And then they wanted to do radiation. He said, nope, I want to go home. I'm done. So he came home November 9th, and he died Christmas Eve. And him and my mom had been married 61 years when he died. They had been together 65. And she did good. She did good. I guess because we were all running out and, so she did really good. And then September 2020, they had a nurse come into the house to check on her because she didn't like coming out, especially after COVID. Now she wouldn't go out. And so she said, well, the doctor's going to have to come here. I ain't going out. So they come check on her. So this particular day was not even her nurse's day. But the nurse was in the neighborhood and she said, is it okay to come by? And they let her come by. Well, my mother was shutting down. We didn't even know. Vitals shutting down. So they rushed her to the hospital. Her kidneys weren't working. They said she was going into renal failure. And they suggested dialysis. And we knew she didn't want that. So they brought her home on that Monday. And she died Thursday. She died Halloween. Halloween 2022. Halloween.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. I'm doing good talking to you like this without. Yeah. Yep.
You also a survivor of cancer?
Yep. Survivor, stage 2 breast cancer. I was diagnosed in August of 2019. I started chemo in October of 2019. I rang the bell January 10th, 2020. Had a break. Then I had surgery. And then I did radiation, started in March and ended in May of 2020.
What does radiation do?
Radiation, I guess it killed. Well, they do the surgery to make sure that they got everything because my mass shrunk by the 3rd chemo. They couldn't believe it. The doctor was blown. He's like, wait a minute. Where the hell was this? He goes back to the computer and look. I said it was right there. So radiation, I guess it kind of burns because I noticed like I was darker on one side than the other side or whatever. But the thing about the radiation, and we were talking about this on the ride here, is radiation is with precision. So by my breast cancer being on the left side and my heart being on the left side, they needed to make sure that everything was precise to not affect my heart. And so I learned, they kind of do little tattoos, little marks on you for the precision or whatever. But I didn't have any problems with it. I did radiation, the whole thing of COVID. Like I had to go in every day and I go in the hospital every day and I wear masks, every day for several weeks.
Is it true that chemo, after you take chemo, the taste, you can't taste anything?
That's not true. What affected me from chemo, now I have what they call neuropathy. So my feet, I have like numbness in my toes and at the ball of my feet from the chemo. And it also affects my fingertips. Yeah, it's like a numbness in my feet, like just at the tips of my finger. And that comes from...
You had to go to therapy for neuropathy, right?
No, I didn't go to therapy for neuropathy. But some people would develop what they call diabetic neuropathy.
That's when you can't bend your foot.
Or something, I don't know. But I can it's just like when you play in the snow and you get like frostbite or your feet. It feels like that. Yeah. It's not a pain. It's like a uncomfortable thing. But I have like, these are like a special sock that I put on and it gives me support so I can really walk because I like to walk. And I have oil that I'll put on my feet.
All right.
It's battle scars, but I guess what? I'm here though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. Can I tell you what I'm doing now though?
Of course.
So for the last since 2015, I want to say, I started doing mentoring and workshops and stuff. And like I had belonged to I used to travel for a ministry out of Dallas called the Bill Glass Ministry. And they would go into prisons all around the country. And I was considered one of their platform speakers. So we go into the pods, right? And I would speak with the inmates, male and female. And then they would minister with them afterwards. So I did that for a while. And then I started going into the juvie centers in Jersey, working with the young girls there. And then I decided to do my own program. It's called the Thelma R. Wright under the Thelma R. Wright Foundation. I have an empowerment program, and I mentor youth and at-risk youth, male and female, and women if they want it. I volunteer once a month for a domestic violence group, but then I also, like I said, the mentoring. But I'm trying to raise funds now. I have a GoFundMe right now because people don't want to pay me for my services. They have the money, but they don't want to pay you. They want to, I don't know what they think, but this is what I do for a living. You know what I mean? So I started my own GoFundMe.
Okay.
And I'm doing a fundraiser in September, a black tie fundraiser for a scholarship. I would like to be able to give a scholarship, a scholastic scholarship, but to an athlete in honor of my father. Preferably a guard, if I could.
Okay.
You know?
Where can you find the GoFundMe link at? On your Instagram or is it on the website?
It's on my Instagram.
Okay.
And you can if you go to GoFundMe, if you go to GoFundMe and put in my name, it'll come up.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the link is in my son put it in my IG. So it's there. I would love people to help to know because there was a shooting at the ID today in Philadelphia. The kids that were arrested, from what I was told, were 15 and 16, 17 years old. We desperately need these programs in Philly, and they must be funded. Speakers have to be paid. Transportation has to be paid. Transportation for the youth has to be paid. They have to be safe. We have to make sure that they're not coming into a community where their ops are.
Right.
You know, so this requires funding. And I am applying for grants. So far, I haven't been able to get one. But I'm like, you know what? I should be able to raise money for this. And $5, $10, $20, it helps. It adds up. I've had small donations so far, but it's been, it's been helpful. It helps. So, but I have the Thelma R. Wright Foundation, and we're doing a lot of good stuff. We have a toy drive that we do every year. We're going into our 8th year of that, where we have a party. It's called a party with a purpose. And all you have to do is bring one toy for admission to the party. And we let people have birthday parties and anniversary parties, whatever. The objective is to bring the toys for the kids. And then we have, we provide toys to the shelters and to needy families and people that need it. We do that. And then I also help my partner Keisha with her. She has extended helping hands, which they feed the less fortunate. She's going into her 8th year with that. So we do that. We're doing a lot of stuff. She has a sneaker drive. She has a coat drive that I participate in with that. So we're trying to do a lot of things because people need help.
No, for sure. I think, you coming from the,
checking your GoFundMe,
you having a background of what you've been through, I think that's meaningful in that way. And then also I feel like the teens and the youth, if they're not busy, then they're going to end up in the same kind of story as you have right now. Sit on the couch with someone on their podcast years from now. You know what I'm saying? So
that's right.
I think it's very important. I've noticed that when I was younger too, just in high school, I seen the teens that I was around who were on a basketball team or a baseball team or whatever, chess club. Like those kids are usually not in too much trouble versus the kids who are not a part of anything or there's no PALs or no after school programs. So I think that's very important.
It is.
What's going on?
It is.
Before we close this, tell us about your son real quick, and then go into the book, and then we out.
So my son is my biggest supporter. he was first. My dad was second, but he's my biggest supporter. He handles all of my business affairs pertaining to any projects that I'm doing or working on. He's a little busy right now, so I had to move out on my GoFundMe and black tie on my own. But yeah, he works in the entertainment industry. He's a producer. He's done a lot of great things. I'm so proud of him. It was something that I was determined to do, was to get him through school, because I knew education was so important. And his father and I had talked about that when he was in the womb, that we definitely didn't want this child to be in the street. We wanted to give him the best education that money could buy. And after his father died, it was my job to do that. And I knew that I would do it no matter what I had to do it. And so, what you put into your children is what you get back. And so I deposit a lot, and I am getting it back now. And I'm very, very proud of him. We're very close. We talk all the time about everything, He would laugh when I said about the dating, because he wants me to date. So, but yeah. So Flip over there laughing. What you laughing at, Flip?
Shout out to your son, though, man. Shout out to your son. That's dope.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. I love my son. And I love his girl, Katrina.
Shout out to
Katrina. I love her. Yeah. So,
how old a guy has to be to date you, if anybody's listening?
He has to be at least 58.
So no, like 40-year-old.
No, my son's 41. That can't happen. My son is 41 years old.
That's peace.
That can't happen.
Who's your celebrity crush? If you have one.
Big Daddy Kane.
Shut up, Flip. I don't think I have a celebrity. Do I have a celebrity crush?
Or is there anybody that you look like? Oh, he's a nice looking guy.
There's a lot of them, but nah, because I know Hollywood is Hollyweird. So, nah, I don't think I have.
You've been around. So I see you had a picture. You had a picture with Michael B. Jordan. That was you.
My son used to work for Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know most females like him.
Yeah.
But he's probably too young.
He's too young for me. He's younger than my son.
Yeah.
No, I've met a lot of people and I've been in a lot of people's company, but I don't think I have a celebrity crush.
Okay.
No, I think so. I used to love. Well, I still do. I admire Howard Hewitt. Was one of my favorite singers. Like, I like Howard Hewitt. I met him. I have a picture with him.
Yeah, seen that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. No, I don't think I have.
All right, so let me ask you this: Who was the celebrity that you met that you were excited to meet? Not so much that you liked them or anything, but who was the celebrity? 'Cause I see you pictures of Will Smith on your page.
Yeah, well, see, I did their stuff in '87, so
right.
And my son they used to take my son on trips with them when he was a little boy.
Really?
Yeah, they used to take him. Jeff and Will and Charlie and them used to take my son. To Wild. Matter of fact, they told me stories about he would go with them. Now I'd give him money, right? So I give him money. He would go with them for the day, and he would spend his money and their money, and then tell them, "My mom will give it to you when we go home." So I met a lot of people, but
are you trying to push this woman on somebody, G?
I know.
No. I said different. I said other than who she attracted to. I said who is she excited to meet?
Excited to meet.
That's a celebrity wise.
She met a lot of people.
I met a lot of people.
He's a legend.
I don't know, like. Maybe back then I was, I'm always.
You excited to meet Martin when you met Lawrence? Because he was.
Yes, but he wasn't Martin yet.
Oh, yeah. So this was before. Okay.
I met Tommy Davidson. They were headed there.
Oh.
Gotcha.
See, they were headed. You know what I mean? Like they were. Martin. I met Martin because of Robin. Because Robin brought Martin to the first party at the Four Seasons in L.A. In Beverly Hills. That was the first party. And someone had asked Tommy Davidson to perform at the party, so that's why they were all there. Mm-hmm. And then when I started talking to Robin about what things I was doing, and I wanted to have the party in Philly in '88, I said, if I did a party here, I got to do one in Philly. So he said, yeah, just send a car for me. So he came, and we were really, really cool. So now they're coming up, you know what I mean? Because they were doing Do the Right Thing, and then he was going to do Harlem Nights with Eddie Murphy. So he was on his, you know what I mean? He was on his way.
Wow, that's dope.
So I'm trying to think, like, I don't know, because people be tripping. I was excited. Like, I met Anita Baker years ago before she became that Anita Baker. Like, I was meeting people before.
Right before you see
Right before they hit,
That's fire.
And I always liked her because I always say Anita Baker's album, Rapture, saved my life because that bring me joy. I can't sing, but I used to sing that to my son. He thought I could sing. And he would say, sing to me, mommy, sing to me. It was just me and him. You know what I mean? Jackie was back in Philly and we, trying to get situated or whatever. But my son thought I could sing.
Anita Baker's famous.
Anita Baker and I would go to all her shows, no matter where she was, I'm coming. Anita Baker's in Cleveland, when? I'm coming. She at Constitution Hall, when? I'm going. So,
All right. And lastly, the book is out now. So
the book has been out.
Get the book. Well,
yeah. So the book is titled "With Eyes from Both Sides: Living My Life in and Out of the Game." You can get it on Amazon.
Okay.
And it's an ebook as well.
Okay.
I would love to do Audible. I'm still researching that. I haven't done that yet. But yeah, you can get it on Amazon and ebook on Amazon.
Make sure I go check it out. Support that, y'all. Go grab a copy of the book.
And I am on Facebook under my name, Thelma Wright. I'm on Instagram, Thelma Wright, and I'm on X, Thelma B. Wright. I'm on all the social.
I like how you said X and not Twitter. You know what's
because I go to X for all my news stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm on all the social media platforms. Thanks to my son, he makes sure that I'm good on all that stuff.
Well, all right. Yo.
Longest interview ever?
Close to it. Close to it. No, we had long.
We had a
ones.
couple.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But this is one where like I don't know. I'm excited and I'm into it and I like it. I liked it a lot. I like this interview a lot. Man.
I think she gets the award for the most details and the most memory about
she's
like
fire,
she's saying months and days and like she got to get the crown for that.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you know what with my life. Sometimes you wish you could forget.
Oh,
but you can't.
G, I know. Yeah, G. I know you got. I know you got something for her, G.
I don't know.
What do you got?
Somebody, I always lose it now. I keep finding these episodes. Last one.
Gee, I know you got. Yeah, give it to her, G.
My back pocket somewhere. Damn, what I put it at? Under the left.
Every y'all want to say it with you.
What?
Oh, she cool, man.
You're silly.
She was on the. You remember she from the street. She nervous. Like,
what y'all doing? What y'all doing over here?
Hey, listen. We want to thank you.
Appreciate you.
Great interview. Appreciate you coming up here and taking your time. I'm gonna read the book. I'm gonna call you personally also, and I just think it's just amazing. Your story is amazing. I appreciate you. I just leave it at that.
Yeah, definitely.
Some people upset I didn't go to jail, but if they really know, yeah, man, for real. If they really paid attention to my story, like they would know the trauma and the pain.
Why are they upset that you didn't go to jail?
People want you to go to jail.
Because that's hate. That's why.
They want you to go to jail.
Did they try to lie and say you was working with police? Did they try to put
No, I've been asked that. Well, did you tell? Well, did I get a case? No, I didn't tell. What, just go knock on the door. Yo, listen, I got some things I want to tell y'all. No, it don't happen like that. But I spoke to these women professional women one time, and she turned out to be a nun. The woman was a nun, and she said, I just don't understand why you're not in jail. I said, what, you want me to stay my whole life? You know, this was 30-some years ago that I did this, right? Should I be in it for the rest of my life or what? But you never went to. No, I didn't. Because I stopped.
Right.
If you stop, maybe you won't go to jail.
Amen.
And nobody told on me. Somebody got to. I tell people all the time, these authorities do not wake up in the morning knowing your name. Somebody got to tell them something.
Wow.
Somebody got to put them on you. They don't know about you just like that. Don't happen like that. So, thank you guys.
Round of applause.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah.
It's Thelma Wright.
So,
appreciate you.
Mr. Wright.
G Money, sign us out, G Money.
Yes, dope episode, man. Make sure you follow the pages at Queens Flip with a Z, at DJ G Money Official, at Flip the Script Pod.
Oh no, we gotta sign out.
Yes. Shout out to Thelma Wright. Dope episode, man. Once again, man, rest in peace, DJ Mr. C. Salute, legendary pioneer DJ in New York City, radio in the clubs and all over. Picky Eater season 5 coming 2024. Look out for that. Working on that right now. It's in the works. You know what I'm saying? So Yes, sir.
Hey, yo, it's Queens Flip, man. Dope episode. I'm excited about it. Yes. Amazing episode.
Lock your
And,
doors.
Nah.
No, you leave that one out.
Well, lock the doors, close your windows, close your blinds, open your blinds. And if you see Thelma Wright on your lawn, put it away. She don't mean any harm. But don't let her in unless you ring the alarm. I'm from Queens.